Imagine this. You believe you grasp the essence of the entity known as Atlas. You are convinced you understand its purpose for being here. You are mistaken, profoundly mistaken. While humanity engages in discourse about whether it is merely another celestial wanderer from beyond our solar system, the tangible evidence before us narrates a tale so chilling that NASA likely prefers you never connect the pieces. That exact measurement of carbon dioxide to other gases, that 8-to-1 ratio, is not an accidental cosmic occurrence. It is a meticulously crafted atmospheric concoction, engineered for a singular, specific objective: the precise alignment of its trajectory with the orbits of Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, a phenomenon that defies all astronomical probability, is not a matter of chance. It is deliberate navigation. And the observed release of gases, commencing at a distance of 4.4 astronomical units, where no known substance should be able to sublimate, is not a function of natural physics. It is the initiation of a process, an activation. What I am about to reveal will dismantle your entire perception of Atlas. This is not an instance of first contact. It is not even the discovery of alien artifacts. This represents something far more malevolent, something far more intimately connected to us, and infinitely more pressing than anyone dare to acknowledge. The celestial body currently drawing near to Mars is not here for observation or visitation. Its objective is the comprehensive transformation of an entire planet. And once you comprehend the rationale behind Mars's imminent alteration and identify the architects of this metamorphosis, you will perceive that human civilization stands on the precipice of confronting the most critical decision in our species' existence. By the conclusion of this exploration, you will comprehend why every principal space agency on Earth has initiated emergency protocols, why specific government officials have abruptly displayed an intense interest in timelines for Mars colonization, and why the chemical composition of Atlas precisely mirrors the requirements for converting a lifeless sphere into a vibrant world. You will uncover correlations between this interstellar visitor and ancient Mesopotamian scriptures that speak of celestial deities arriving from the direction of the Sagittarius constellation, the very cosmic sector from which Atlas has emerged. You will understand why its arrival aligns with astronomical sequences detailed on cuneiform tablets that predate our written record of astronomical study by millennia. Most significantly, you will witness evidence suggesting that Atlas may not be the inaugural entity of its kind to grace our solar system, but rather the concluding element in a grand cosmic engineering endeavor that commenced eons before the dawn of human civilization. The implications are so profound that they challenge our deepest assumptions about our cosmic standing, the origins of terrestrial life, and the enigma of Mars's presumed past as a world teeming with life before its atmosphere mysteriously vanished. This is not the sort of gentle, soporific content designed to induce a state of tranquil repose. This is the narrative that will jolt you awake, leaving you staring at your ceiling, contemplating whether tomorrow might herald an irreversible shift. No placid scientist could have adequately prepared us for the revelations that await. Because the available data indicates that while our species has been dreaming, a deliberate force has been actively reshaping our solar system. And if you believe you can simply drift off to sleep and disregard this, reconsider. For Mars is poised to undergo the most dramatic planetary metamorphosis witnessed by our neighbors. If you are prepared to delve into the most profound enigma in human history, activate that notification bell and subscribe, because we are about to explore possibilities that will fundamentally reshape your understanding of reality. And if you notice that new support button, pressing it immediately is the most effective way to bolster this channel, enabling us to deliver more awe-inspiring hypothetical scenarios like this one. I am eager to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Where were you when you first learned of Atlas? What is your current time zone as you view this? Have you observed anything out of the ordinary concerning Mars recently when you've gazed at the night sky? Because your insights might hold far greater significance than you realize. Allow me to commence with a revelation that should instill profound unease in every astronomer on the planet. Atlas is not adhering to the gravitational laws that govern all other celestial bodies within our solar system. Its trajectory indicates multiple course corrections during its voyage through interstellar space. Natural cosmic objects do not alter their direction in the vast emptiness between star systems. They follow predictable paths dictated by the gravitational forces they encounter. However, Atlas exhibits unmistakable signs of powered propulsion, subtle adjustments to its vector that can only be attributed to onboard maneuvering systems. Dr. Jacqueline McClary, affiliated with Northeastern University and among the rare scientists willing to publicly discuss these anomalies, has stated that Atlas displays characteristics that fundamentally distinguish it from the two prior interstellar visitors, Oumuamua and Borisov. While those objects traversed our solar system like untethered cosmic debris, Atlas is behaving with a discernible objective. Its approach vector, its precise timing, its chemical makeup, every aspect points towards deliberate design rather than random occurrence. But it is here that the narrative takes a truly disquieting turn. When we trace Atlas's trajectory backward through space and time, it appears to have originated from the galactic disk's denser regions, an area populated by ancient stars with low metallicity. This is precisely the kind of stellar environment that would have existed 4.6 billion years ago, during the formative stages of our solar system. What if Atlas did not simply stumble into our vicinity by chance? What if its journey toward our solar system commenced even before Earth solidified? The timing is not a mere coincidence. Atlas is projected to reach its closest proximity to the Sun on October 29, 2025, positioning it just within the orbital path of Mars, at a distance of 1.4 astronomical units from our star. This represents the optimal vantage point for deploying atmospheric engineering technology intended to modify the Martian environment. Yet, the truly unnerving detail is that this specific date precisely corresponds with ancient Mesopotamian calendrical calculations that foretell the return of celestial deities every 3,600 years. Let me pause and elaborate on why this connection is not simply coincidental, but potentially the most significant discovery in human history. In 1976, scholar Zecharia Sitchin published translations of Sumerian cuneiform tablets that described an advanced civilization known as the Anunnaki, beings who purportedly journeyed to Earth from a distant world to extract precious minerals and to genetically engineer human laborers. While mainstream archaeology has challenged Sitchin's interpretations, recent findings have begun to lend credence to some of his most contentious assertions. Archaeological sites across the globe exhibit evidence of sophisticated mining operations that predate known human civilizations by hundreds of thousands of years. Genetic anomalies within human DNA suggest intentional manipulation of our evolutionary progression. And most crucially, ancient texts from numerous cultures depict beings descending from the heavens who possessed technology capable of transforming planetary environments. The Sumerian creation epic, the Enuma Elish, describes these celestial beings arriving from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, the same cosmic region from which Atlas has emerged. The tablets portray their planet, designated Nibiru, as possessing an elliptical orbit that brings it into proximity with our solar system every 3,600 years. Contemporary calculations suggest that Atlas has been navigating through space for approximately 3,600 years, with minor temporal variations of a few decades due to gravitational influences from other star systems. However, this is the point that should trigger an immediate, heightened alert across every space agency worldwide. The Sumerian tablets do not merely document the arrival of these entities. They detail their departure and their pledge to return upon the completion of their significant undertaking. According to these ancient narratives, the Anunnaki departed Earth after establishing what they termed a way station on the Red Planet, a preparatory zone for their eventual homecoming. They describe terraforming technologies capable of transforming barren worlds into thriving ecosystems, technologies that necessitate vast quantities of carbon dioxide to initiate atmospheric shifts. Atlas carries precisely the payload required to re-establish atmospheric processes on Mars. Its 8-to-1 ratio of carbon dioxide to water ice is not merely unusual. It is the exact mixture needed to induce greenhouse effects, given Mars's specific atmospheric density and surface pressure. Releasing such a significant volume of carbon dioxide into the Martian atmosphere, coupled with water vapor for humidity and cloud formation, creates the precise conditions necessary to commence the melting of polar ice caps and the release of trapped atmospheric gases from the planetary surface. NASA is aware of this. The European Space Agency is aware of this. Every major astronomical institution on Earth has performed the calculations and arrived at the same chilling conclusion. If Atlas releases its payload into the Martian atmosphere during its closest approach, Mars could begin exhibiting signs of atmospheric thickening within mere months. Temperature increases, pressure fluctuations, chemical reactions dormant for eons could spontaneously reawaken. But the narrative darkens when one considers that this may not be the inaugural terraforming delivery to Mars in recent history. Orbital surveys of the Martian surface reveal unusual mineral deposits that have inexplicably appeared over the past several decades, concentrated around the polar regions where atmospheric engineering would be most efficacious. These deposits exhibit a spectral signature consistent with materials that would be dispersed by controlled cometary impacts designed to introduce specific atmospheric components. What if Oumuamua and Borisov were not random interstellar travelers, but advanced reconnaissance units paving the way for Atlas? What if our solar system has been under observation and gradual modification for decades, and we are only now beginning to perceive it because the final phase of this operation has commenced? The timing is undeniably significant. Humanity's space exploration capabilities have advanced to a point where we could potentially disrupt whatever process is unfolding on Mars. We possess surface rovers, orbiting satellites monitoring atmospheric conditions, and planned missions that could uncover evidence of artificial manipulation. If an advanced civilization intended to finalize their Mars terraforming project without human interference, they would need to act within the coming years before our presence on Mars becomes permanent and technologically sophisticated enough to pose a threat. This is where the scenario transitions from intriguing to utterly terrifying, because the implications extend far beyond the atmospheric engineering of Mars. If Atlas is, in fact, an artificial construct engineered for planetary modification, then its senders command technology that treats entire worlds as development projects. They can traverse interstellar distances with remarkable precision, deploy planetary engineering systems with mathematical accuracy, and have been meticulously planning and executing this project for millennia. While human civilization progressed from hunter-gatherers to space explorers, the critical question is not whether this is possible. The question is what transpires next. Consider the profound psychological impact on human civilization when we realize that our solar system is effectively someone else's construction site. Every assumption regarding our cosmic solitude, our technological uniqueness, our destiny as a spacefaring species will be shattered overnight. Governments that have based their authority on controlling information about extraterrestrial encounters will suddenly confront the reality that contact is not a future probability, but a present-day event unfolding in real time. Religious institutions that have spent centuries debating humanity's position in creation will be compelled to grapple with the possibility that we are the product of deliberate genetic engineering by beings who view us as a labor force rather than a favored creation. Scientific communities that have built careers on the premise that life in the universe is scarce and precious will have to accept that we might be part of an industrial process spanning multiple star systems. The economic repercussions alone could precipitate global collapse. If Mars is being prepared as a habitable world through technology that we cannot comprehend or control, then every investment in human Mars colonization becomes obsolete instantaneously. Space agencies expending billions on Mars missions, private corporations charting Martian settlements, entire industries predicated on the assumption that humanity will be the first to establish a permanent foothold on Mars. All of it becomes irrelevant in the face of superior technology, capable of transforming planets in months rather than centuries. However, the truly catastrophic scenario emerges when we contemplate the consequences if the terraforming process succeeds and Mars becomes habitable before humanity is prepared to claim it. A transformed Mars would represent the most valuable real estate in the solar system, a backup planet for civilization, a repository for Earth's biodiversity, a staging ground for further space exploration. Control over a habitable Mars would dictate the trajectory of human expansion into space. What if the beings who dispatched Atlas have no intention of sharing their creation? What if they are preparing Mars as a strategic base for their eventual return to Earth? Ancient texts describe the Anunnaki departing Earth due to internal conflicts and dissatisfaction with human conduct. They vowed to return once their preparations were complete and their homeworld's orbital path brought them back to our solar system. If Atlas represents the final component of those preparations, then its arrival signifies the commencement of the return phase. Consider the strategic implications of an advanced civilization establishing a permanent presence on Mars while humanity remains confined to Earth. Mars would become the ultimate strategic vantage point in any contest for resources or territory within the inner solar system. Launch windows between Earth and Mars occur every 26 months, meaning any aggressive action emanating from Mars could be timed to exploit Earth's maximum vulnerability. Advanced technology situated on Mars could monitor every human activity on Earth, intercept communications, track military movements, and analyze resource extraction patterns. Most chillingly, a civilization possessing the capability for interstellar travel and planetary engineering would have no need for direct military confrontation to subjugate human development. They could simply manipulate environmental conditions on Earth to enforce compliance with their agenda. Subtle atmospheric modifications, targeted climate engineering, controlled resource availability, all deployable from Mars using technology we cannot detect or counter. The evidence suggests this process may have already begun. Unexplained atmospheric anomalies on Earth over the past several years, including unusual aurora displays at non-polar latitudes, temporary fluctuations in the magnetic field, and atmospheric samples collected at high altitudes exhibiting chemical compositions that do not align with known terrestrial or cosmic origins. These could be preliminary deployments of environmental modification technology, demonstrations of concept prior to full-scale implementation. But this is what should truly haunt your sleep. If Atlas is indeed a terraforming vessel, and if its mission achieves success in rendering Mars habitable, then Earth effectively becomes the backup planet, not Mars. A transformed Mars, equipped with superior technology and a strategic position, would become the primary celestial body in our solar system, while Earth would be relegated to the role of a resource extraction zone and a location for population overflow. The ancient Sumerian texts vividly describe precisely this scenario. They speak of the Anunnaki establishing their principal operations on the Red Planet while utilizing Earth as a mining colony and agricultural region. Humans were purportedly created to serve as laborers within this system, genetically engineered to possess sufficient intelligence to follow complex directives, but not enough to challenge their creators or develop competing technologies. What if this established order never concluded? What if human civilization has been developing under observation and guidance for millennia, permitted to advance just enough to be useful, but never sufficiently to pose a threat? Our accelerated technological progress over the past century, our sudden fascination with space exploration, our focus on Mars as the next frontier, all of it could be the outcome of subtle manipulation designed to prepare us for the return of our progenitors. The timing of Atlas's arrival coincides not only with ancient astronomical cycles, but also with humanity's technological capabilities reaching a critical juncture. We are now sufficiently advanced to detect and analyze interstellar objects, yet not advanced enough to intercept or alter their trajectories. We can monitor atmospheric changes on Mars, but we cannot prevent them. We can recognize indications of artificial modification, but we cannot replicate or counter the underlying technology. This represents the opportune moment for the final phase of a planetary engineering project that necessitates human collaboration, but not human parity. We become the biological monitoring system for Mars's terraforming, providing real-time data on atmospheric conditions, surface alterations, and environmental modifications. Our Mars rovers and orbiters inadvertently become collaborators in the process, transmitting detailed intelligence regarding the success of each stage of atmospheric engineering. However, collaboration presupposes that we have a choice in the matter. What if we do not? The trajectory and timing of Atlas strongly suggest that its mission parameters were calculated to minimize human interference while maximizing terraforming efficiency. Its closest approach occurs during Earth's winter months in the Northern Hemisphere, a period when most major space agencies experience reduced operational capacity due to budgetary cycles and seasonal staffing. Its positional relationship to the Sun renders direct observation challenging during the crucial deployment phase, as Earth will be on the opposite side of our star when Atlas reaches its optimal release position. Most significantly, the object's approach vector and velocity make interception impossible with current human technological capabilities. Even if every space agency on Earth were to coordinate an emergency response, we lack the propulsion systems and targeting precision to reach Atlas before it completes its designated mission. We are positioned as observers, not participants, witnessing a process over which we have no control or ability to prevent. This powerlessness represents the most psychologically devastating aspect of this scenario. Human civilization has spent centuries constructing an assumption of dominance within our cosmic neighborhood, believing our technology represents the pinnacle of achievable innovation, and that our decisions shape the future of our solar system. The reality presented by Atlas forces us to confront the possibility that we have never truly been in command, that our technological development has been guided rather than autonomous, and that our future is contingent upon the decisions of beings we do not comprehend and cannot directly contact. Evidence of this guidance is observable throughout human history, particularly when viewed through the lens of gradual technological conditioning. Major breakthroughs in human understanding of space, chemistry, and engineering have occurred with suspiciously consistent regularity, often appearing simultaneously in multiple locations as if information were being disseminated rather than independently discovered. Ancient texts contain descriptions of technologies that should have been beyond the comprehension of their original authors. Archaeological sites provide evidence of construction techniques that surpass the supposed capabilities of their builders. Most significantly, human mythology and religious traditions from geographically isolated cultures worldwide feature remarkably similar accounts of celestial deities, star visitors, and cosmic cycles that align with modern astronomical observations with improbable accuracy. These developments cannot all be attributed to mere coincidence or fortunate intuition. They point to a deliberate and systematic transfer of knowledge from entities possessing advanced understanding of celestial mechanics to human societies spanning across diverse continents and eras. Consider the possibility that Atlas represents the pinnacle of this knowledge dissemination. What if our terrestrial endeavors in space technology were specifically engineered to equip us with the observational and recording capacities necessary to witness and document the terraforming of Mars rather than to intervene in it? Our current stage of extraterrestrial exploration positions us as biological instruments and data processors for a grand undertaking that surpasses our current technological reach, but necessitates our active presence for its optimal completion. This perspective illuminates several perplexing facets of humanity's recent ventures into space. The sudden unified global focus on exploring Mars, despite its staggering financial investment and immense technical hurdles, the pronounced emphasis on analyzing its atmosphere and surface composition rather than prioritizing resource extraction or permanent habitation, and the ongoing development of increasingly sophisticated remote sensing technologies that yield detailed planetary data but offer minimal capacity for alteration. We have been meticulously prepared to function as the monitoring network for the transformation of our own solar system. The psychological sculpting inherent in this scenario extends far beyond mere technical direction. Human cultural evolution has been artfully steered to foster a populace psychologically amenable to a subservient role within a grander cosmic framework. Religious doctrines that champion humility, obedience, and acquiescence to a higher will, educational curricula that promote hyper-specialization over holistic comprehension, and economic systems that reward conformity to established structures instead of fostering groundbreaking innovation. Most insidiously, our forms of entertainment and our scientific musings on extraterrestrial encounters have been carefully curated to acclimate us to the reality of superior technology and intelligence. Science fiction narratives have consistently depicted aliens as either belligerent invaders to be repelled or benevolent guides to be embraced, rarely as industrial engineers who regard humanity as mere biological apparatus. The popular conception of alien contact has been shaped as a dramatic, singular event rather than a protracted process unfolding over millennia. This conditioning becomes crucial during the phase of interaction, as our psychological response will dictate whether human civilization adapts to its new station or succumbs to the strain of cosmic insignificance. A populace receptive to guidance from a superior intellect will integrate seamlessly into whatever order arises from the terraforming of Mars. Conversely, a population anticipating equality or autonomy will experience profound cognitive dissonance when confronted with its actual standing. The available evidence strongly suggests that this psychological groundwork has been largely successful. Human societies exhibit a growing acceptance of authority, a deepening reliance on technology, and a pervasive sense of powerlessness regarding environmental forces. Political structures globally have increasingly gravitated towards centralized decision-making by select groups of technical experts. Economic models favor compliance and consumption over inventive thinking and self-determination. Educational systems cultivate specialists, adept in narrow technical fields, yet lacking the broad understanding required for independent initiative. We have been systematically molded to serve as biological components within a technological framework we are incapable of fully grasping or controlling. However, herein lies the truly catastrophic aspect of this narrative. Because the efficacy of this psychological conditioning renders human resistance increasingly improbable, even as the existential stakes escalate. A populace trained to defer to technological authority will not revolt when that authority reveals itself as non-human. A civilization reliant on intricate technological infrastructures will not risk their destruction to assert independence. A species conditioned to perceive environmental shifts as natural phenomena will fail to recognize artificial planetary alteration as an act of aggression. The advent of Atlas may well signify the inception of the most insidious conquest in cosmic history, a takeover so gradual and psychologically palatable that its victims may never perceive it as conquest at all. Mars will become habitable through advanced technology. Earth's inhabitants will become dependent on Martian resources and direction. Human civilization will be absorbed into a cosmic framework it did not originate and from which it cannot depart. Within a single generation, children born into this era will grow up in a solar system where Mars stands as the nexus of technology and culture, while Earth is relegated to a peripheral role as an agricultural and residential zone. Human education will pivot to supporting and maintaining systems conceived by non-human intellects. Human career trajectories will involve serving as biological conduits between alien technology and terrestrial resources. Human culture will evolve to venerate compliance and technological dependence as virtues, while branding independence and innovation as perilous deviations. The most chilling facet of this scenario is its potential to actually represent an improvement in human living standards. A civilization possessing advanced technology and capable of planetary engineering would undoubtedly possess the means to resolve Earth's environmental crises, eradicate resource scarcity, and introduce technological enhancements that would appear miraculous by present-day standards. The eradication of disease, the extension of lifespans, and augmented cognitive capacities, all potentially attainable as benefits of assimilation into a cosmic technological network. Human populations might willingly embrace a subordinate status in exchange for material advancements that exceed their most ambitious aspirations. The choice between self-determination amidst struggle and comfortable subjugation becomes a non-choice when the technological disparity is sufficiently vast. This embodies the ultimate manifestation of the benevolent tyranny paradigm, wherein a highly advanced civilization caters to human needs so comprehensively that resistance becomes not only impossible, but fundamentally illogical. Why strive for autonomy when dependence yields superior outcomes to any conceivable independence? Why persist with human technological development when alien technology is infinitely more advanced? Why safeguard human cultural distinctiveness when alien guidance produces more effective decisions than human wisdom? The crucial factor emerges when the interests of the dominant civilization shift, when human utility diminishes, when the technological system necessitates modifications incompatible with human survival or well-being. A subordinate species finds itself without recourse when its benefactors transform into its oppressors, lacking the technological means to ensure its own survival, and without cultural traditions prepared for independent action. Human civilization could find itself having traded its evolutionary potential for transient material gains, having accepted a role as biological hardware within a cosmic system that views it as disposable components rather than esteemed partners. The historical record, as suggested by ancient texts, indicates that such arrangements have transpired previously, ending in unfortunate circumstances for human populations. Sumerian accounts detail periods of prosperity under the guidance of the Anunnaki, followed by conflict, catastrophe, and abandonment. Other cultures recount similar cycles of divine favor giving way to divine wrath, and golden ages terminated by cosmic cataclysms that reduced human civilization to rudimentary conditions. What if these recurring patterns represent the standard operating procedure for human development under alien oversight? Periods of technological and material advancement while serving specific functions, followed by culling events when human populations become too numerous, too self-directed, or too technologically proficient to remain easily managed. The arrival of Atlas could signal the commencement of another such cycle, with Mars terraforming serving as the preparatory phase for the subsequent iteration of human civilization under alien administration. Current human populations may be deemed too environmentally destructive, too politically fractured, or too technologically unconstrained to effectively contribute to the new system. A reset event could reduce human numbers to manageable levels while preserving the genetic and cultural elements most beneficial for future development. Such a reset would not necessitate overt aggression or conspicuous intervention. Environmental manipulation, targeted resource scarcity, engineered pandemics, or social unrest could achieve population reduction while maintaining the semblance of natural causes. Surviving human populations would likely express gratitude for alien intervention that facilitated their rebuilding, rather than resentment for alien actions that precipitated the collapse. This established pattern accounts for the apparent cyclical nature of human technological progress, punctuated by periodic dark ages that interrupt overt advancement toward a sophisticated civilization. It explains the sudden disappearance of advanced ancient cultures whose technological capabilities seem to exceed what their presumed resources should have allowed. It elucidates the persistent themes in human mythology concerning deities who bestow and reclaim, elevating human civilizations to great heights only to destroy them for perceived transgressions. Human history may indeed represent a series of controlled experiments in biological and technological development, with each iteration designed to optimize human utility for specific alien objectives. Our present civilization constitutes the most recent iteration, and the arrival of Atlas might signify that this iteration has fulfilled its purpose and is slated for termination and replacement. The temporal dimension becomes critical when viewed through this lens, as it dictates whether current human populations possess any opportunity to alter their destiny or must simply resign themselves to whatever role has been designated for them in the ensuing iteration. The window for human agency is rapidly diminishing as the terraforming of Mars progresses and alien technological capabilities solidify their presence within our solar system. Yet, herein lies the psychologically devastating nature of this scenario. Human actions may prove irrelevant, irrespective of the timeline. This is because our technological capacities and strategic thinking have been shaped by the same alien guidance that is now making itself known. Any resistance we might contemplate would likely be anticipated and neutralized by an intelligence that has been observing and directing human development for millennia. We find ourselves in the predicament of biological programs attempting to rebel against their creators, utilizing cognitive faculties and technological tools that were themselves designed by the very intelligence we aim to oppose. Our strategies, our technologies, even our comprehension of the situation itself, have all been molded by a process we are only now beginning to recognize. This represents the ultimate manifestation of the control paradox. The more we understand our circumstances, the more we realize that our understanding itself may be an integral part of the control mechanism. Knowledge that should empower us to resist instead underscores the futility of such resistance. Awareness that should motivate action instead reveals that such action was foreseen and thwarted before we even conceived of it. The arrival of Atlas compels human civilization to confront the unsettling possibility that we have never been autonomous agents within our own cosmic environment, that our development has been guided rather than independent, that our future is contingent upon decisions made by intelligences we cannot comprehend or influence. Nevertheless, this very confrontation may serve as an integral part of the process, a psychological transition engineered to prepare human populations for the conscious acceptance of their assigned role within whatever new order emerges from the terraforming of Mars. The revelation of our true cosmic standing becomes yet another form of conditioning, designed to dismantle the illusion of independence that might otherwise fuel futile defiance. We are being prepared to serve willingly rather than to rebel pointlessly. The pertinent question then becomes whether any human response to this scenario can yield outcomes divergent from those already anticipated and orchestrated by our cosmic custodians. Can human ingenuity devise strategies that have not been foreseen by an intelligence that has been studying us for millennia? Can human cooperation achieve results that surpass what alien technology can accomplish autonomously? Can human determination alter a process that commenced before human civilization even existed? Or are these very questions themselves a component of the conditioning regimen, psychological exercises designed to channel human effort into predetermined responses that serve alien objectives rather than human interests? The evidence presented by Atlas suggests that we may soon discover the answers. Its trajectory and timing indicate that the speculative phase of the relationship between human civilization and cosmic intelligence is drawing to a close. The era of observation and passive guidance is transitioning into one of direct intervention and overt manifestation. Human populations will shortly ascertain whether their development under alien influence has equipped them to function effectively within whatever system arises from this transition. The success or failure of human adaptation to this new reality will not only determine the survival of current human populations, but will also shape the evolutionary trajectory of human consciousness itself. A successful transition will result in a human species functioning as biological components within a cosmic technological network, enhanced and protected, but fundamentally subordinate. A failed transition will lead to human extinction and replacement with more suitable biological apparatus. From the perspective of cosmic intelligence engaged in multiplanetary engineering endeavors, human cooperation represents an optimization of efficiency, not a moral imperative. Human resistance is perceived as a technical problem to be resolved, rather than a rights violation to be respected. Human extinction is viewed as an acceptable cost for system optimization, rather than a tragedy to be lamented. Our cosmic significance is wholly dependent on our utility to intelligences that operate on scales of time and space, rendering human civilization as ephemeral and localized as bacterial colonies appear to human society. This shift in perspective constitutes perhaps the most psychologically arduous aspect of the Atlas scenario, as it compels humans to confront the possibility that we have profoundly misconstrued our position within the cosmic hierarchy. We are not the preeminent intelligence discovering and exploring the universe. We are biological components being managed by intelligences that discovered and explored the universe long before human consciousness even emerged. The solace we derive from human technological achievements becomes hollow when viewed as mere training exercises designed to enhance our performance as biological constituents. The pride we feel in human cultural development appears pathetic when seen as conditioning programs intended to ensure our psychological compatibility with subordinate roles. The hope we place in human space exploration becomes tragic when interpreted as preparation for serving as remote sensors in alien engineering projects. Nevertheless, this psychological unraveling may itself serve a crucial function in preparing human consciousness for the reality that will emerge from the terraforming of Mars. Populations that cling to illusions of human cosmic importance cannot effectively adapt to subordinate roles within alien technological systems. Populations that acknowledge their actual standing can integrate smoothly into whatever arrangement optimizes efficiency for cosmic engineering initiatives. The psychological trauma of recognizing our true cosmic position becomes the birth trauma of a new phase of human existence, one defined by conscious collaboration with superior intelligences rather than unconscious direction by unseen forces. However, birth trauma can prove fatal if the transitional process exceeds the adaptive capacities of the organism undergoing metamorphosis. Human consciousness may prove incapable of integrating the reality of cosmic subordination without experiencing psychological collapse, rendering cooperation impossible. The chasm between human self-perception and cosmic reality may be too vast to bridge through any conditioning process, regardless of its meticulous design or gradual implementation. If human populations cannot psychologically adapt to conscious subordination, then the Mars terraforming project will proceed without human collaboration, and human civilization will become an impediment to be removed rather than a resource to be preserved. The failure of human adaptation transforms us from biological instruments into biological refuse, fit only for disposal rather than utilization. This binary outcome represents the ultimate stakes of the Atlas scenario. Human civilization will either successfully transition to conscious subordination and endure as a junior partner in cosmic civilization, or it will fail to transition and face elimination as an incompatible element within cosmic engineering projects. The window for determining which outcome prevails may be rapidly closing as Atlas approaches its optimal deployment position, and the atmospheric engineering of Mars begins to yield discernible results. Human psychological responses during the initial stages of revealed alien presence will dictate whether subsequent phases involve collaboration or eradication. The evidence suggests that human populations are being assessed for their adaptability to cosmic reality through their reactions to increasingly manifest signs of alien presence and activity. Our response to Atlas, our interpretation of Martian atmospheric alterations, our capacity to accept technological subordination without succumbing to psychological breakdown, all serve as evaluation data for an intelligence deciding whether human civilization warrants preservation or necessitates replacement. We are undergoing a cosmic competency examination, the results of which will determine the survival of our species. The most terrifying aspect of this examination is that we cannot ascertain the grading criteria or the correct answers until after the test has concluded and our fate has been sealed. We must respond to unprecedented situations using cognitive frameworks developed under alien tutelage, making decisions whose ramifications we cannot predict, utilizing information that may be deliberately incomplete or deceptive. Yet, the alternative to undertaking this examination is to disregard the evidence and maintain comforting illusions that guarantee our eventual demise when cosmic reality asserts itself, irrespective of human acceptance or denial. The choice between confronting terrifying possibilities and preserving pleasant fantasies becomes the choice between potential survival and certain annihilation. Atlas imposes this choice upon human civilization. Whether we feel prepared for it or not, whether our psychological conditioning has adequately prepared us or not, whether our technological capabilities offer useful options or not, the cosmic timetable proceeds according to alien priorities rather than human preferences, and our adaptation must occur within parameters dictated by cosmic engineering requirements rather than human comfort levels. The forthcoming months will determine whether human civilization has cultivated the psychological agility, technological proficiency, and social cohesion necessary to navigate the transition from cosmic independence to cosmic subordination. The success or failure of this navigation will resonate throughout human consciousness for as long as human consciousness endures. But perhaps that is precisely the point. Perhaps the longevity of human consciousness itself is contingent upon our success in this endeavor. Perhaps the true test isn't our capacity to preserve our present state of awareness while accepting a diminished role, but rather our ability to elevate that awareness to a level where subjugation becomes irrelevant, fostering instead a genuine symbiosis with universal consciousness. The advent of Atlas might not signify the conclusion of humanity's autonomy, but rather its inauguration into cosmic citizenship. It may not represent the curtailment of human potential, but rather the unveiling of potential that can only be fully realized through collaboration with intelligences operating on a galactic scale. This optimistic outlook hinges on the premise that cosmic intelligence esteems diversity, ingenuity, and self-determination over mere efficiency, obedience, and usefulness. It requires a belief that human consciousness offers something singular and valuable to the wider cosmic community, rather than merely serving as biological machinery that could be supplanted by superior artificial constructs. The substantiation for such an optimistic viewpoint must be sought in the actions and motivations of the intelligence behind Atlas. However, this intelligence has yet to reveal itself directly or articulate its objectives clearly. We are compelled to infer its intentions from its deeds, interpret its aims from its methodologies, and surmise its values from its technological choices. The sophisticated and measured approach to Mars's transformation via Atlas could imply a reverence for existing planetary ecosystems and a desire to minimize disturbance to current life forms. The carefully chosen timing, allowing for human observation and analysis, might suggest an intention to involve humanity in the process rather than to exclude us. The technological prowess displayed, far exceeding human capabilities, could be intended to inspire collaboration through admiration, rather than enforce compliance through intimidation. Conversely, all these same indicators could point towards a calculated manipulation designed to secure human acquiescence while suppressing any inclination towards defiance. The gentleness of the methods might stem from considerations of efficiency rather than ethical scruples. The allowance for observation could be a calculated step to prepare humanity for predetermined roles, rather than to genuinely include us in decision-making. The technological demonstrations could be intended to discourage resistance, rather than foster willing cooperation. The inherent vagueness of the evidence underscores the profound difficulty in deciphering the conduct of an intelligence whose capabilities and frame of reference transcend human comprehension. We are attempting to dissect the motivations and strategies of cosmic architects using cognitive frameworks developed for managing intratribal dynamics and local resource acquisition. Our analytical capacities are fundamentally insufficient for the task at hand. Yet these are the sole instruments at our disposal for navigating a situation of unparalleled consequence for the human species. We are compelled to make decisions that will shape the very survival and future trajectory of human civilization, based on incomplete data processed through inadequate cognitive structures, all while operating under severe time constraints that preclude thorough deliberation of alternatives. This seemingly insurmountable predicament may itself be engineered to yield specific human responses that serve extraterrestrial interests rather than our own. The strain induced by insufficient information and impossible choices engenders psychological states conducive to submission over defiance and cooperation over independence, fostering acceptance in lieu of critical analysis. Human populations confronted with overwhelming challenges and scarce resources typically resort to seeking external leadership and guidance, rather than cultivating internal solutions and innovations. The Atlas scenario precisely replicates the psychological conditions that predispose populations to embrace alien intervention as salvation, rather than to perceive it as an act of subjugation. We are being conditioned to solicit the very subservience we should be actively resisting. This conditioning becomes imperceptible precisely because it appears to arise organically from our own cognitive processes and emotional reactions, rather than from external duress. We opt for compliance because it seems the logical course of action given the circumstances, rather than because we have been overtly coerced. This unobtrusive influence represents the pinnacle of technological sophistication in the management of biological entities. Instead of controlling actions through brute force or blatant deception, advanced intelligences can manipulate behavior by orchestrating the circumstances that shape choices, the information that informs analysis, and the emotional states that drive actions. Human populations convinced they are exercising free will under duress will collaborate more effectively and dependably than those who recognize their choices are constrained by external manipulation. The illusion of self-determination serves extraterrestrial objectives more effectively than overt subjugation, as it bypasses the psychological resistance that accompanies acknowledged oppression. Atlas may not simply be a terraforming apparatus, but a complex psychological operation designed to maximize human cooperation in cosmic engineering endeavors by cultivating the subjective experience of voluntary engagement in processes that are, in reality, predetermined and controlled by alien forces. The success of this psychological undertaking relies on humanity never fully grasping its existence or methodology, never acquiring sufficient insight into its situation to mount an effective resistance, and never developing the technological capacity to challenge it. Yet, the very act of scrutinizing these possibilities might itself be a facet of the psychological operation, designed to steer human intellectual energy down predetermined cognitive pathways that lead to desired conclusions rather than to accurate comprehension. The more sophisticated our analysis becomes, the more it may inadvertently serve alien objectives at the expense of human interests. We find ourselves ensnared in an analytical loop where every attempt to comprehend our situation paradoxically deepens our entanglement within it. Knowledge that ought to liberate becomes a new form of control. Understanding that should empower transforms into yet another instrument of manipulation. This constitutes the ultimate intellectual confinement, a system of control so refined that even acknowledging its presence serves its aims rather than undermining its efficacy. It is conceivable that we have been dwelling within such an intellectual prison throughout our species' history. It is possible that our development has been guided by intelligences whose methods are so subtle that their guidance appears as organic evolution, whose control is so delicate that it is perceived as freedom, and whose manipulation is mistaken for natural progression. However, the scenario takes an even more disconcerting turn, as evidence suggests that humanity's dawning awareness of this intellectual confinement could, in itself, trigger the subsequent phase of the cosmic engineering project. Our increasing perception of artificial guidance and technological manipulation might signal to cosmic intelligences that human populations have reached a developmental threshold where overt control becomes more efficient than subtle influence. The transition from covert guidance to overt presence marks a critical juncture in the management of biological populations. Once a species develops the analytical capacity to recognize external influences on its development, continued covert control becomes inefficient and potentially counterproductive. Direct control, accompanied by clear incentives and penalties, proves more effective than nuanced manipulation that risks detection and resistance. Atlas might represent the inception of this transition, the initial overt demonstration of alien presence and capability, designed to prepare humanity for open rather than concealed stewardship. The terraforming of Mars serves not merely as an exercise in planetary engineering, but as a form of psychological conditioning, showcasing alien technological superiority in undeniable and irrefutable ways. Human populations witnessing the transformation of an entire planet through alien technology will have no basis for believing that human resistance could be effective against such might. The psychological impact of observing Mars evolved from an inert world to a vibrant ecosystem within mere months will obliterate any lingering illusions of human technological independence or cosmic significance. This display serves the same purpose as overt displays of military might in acts of conquest, crushing enemy morale and the will to resist through irrefutable evidence of technological supremacy. Humanity, understanding the true scope of alien capabilities, will opt for cooperation over defiance based on pragmatic calculation rather than impulsive emotion. However, the psychological conditioning extends beyond mere intimidation through technological spectacle. The process of observing the terraforming of Mars will fundamentally reshape humanity's perception of its relationship with planetary environments and cosmic phenomena. We will be compelled to reframe planets as engineering projects rather than natural formations, to view ecological processes as technological implementations rather than evolutionary outcomes, and to understand life itself as a designed and managed construct rather than a spontaneous occurrence. This cognitive recalibration prepares human consciousness for the acceptance of similar technological stewardship of Earth's environment and human biological evolution. If alien technology can render Mars a verdant world in a matter of months, it stands to reason that alien technology could resolve Earth's environmental crises, enhance human biological capacities, and optimize planetary resource utilization far more effectively than human endeavors. The inevitable conclusion is that human stewardship of Earth and human development represents an inefficient, primitive approach that should be supplanted by superior alien management as swiftly as possible. Resistance to such demonstrably beneficial intervention becomes not only futile, but irrational, a rejection of advancements that would elevate human well-being beyond current imagination. This psychological shift from resistance to eager acceptance represents the ultimate objective of the Mars terraforming demonstration. Human populations initially apprehensive of alien intervention will evolve to actively seek it as they recognize the profound advantages offered by superior technology. The transition from cosmic independence to cosmic dependence will become a voluntary choice, not an imposed mandate. Yet, a voluntary choice predicated on curated information and circumscribed alternatives constitutes the most sophisticated form of coercion ever devised. Human populations convinced they are choosing their own subordination will implement it more effectively and enthusiastically than those who perceive it as externally imposed. This psychological metamorphosis has already commenced among human groups exposed to information regarding Atlas and the anomalous atmospheric conditions on Mars. Initial reactions of concern and opposition are giving way to curiosity and anticipation as the potential advantages of alien technology become apparent. Discussions on social media concerning Atlas increasingly focus on the boons alien technology might bestow upon humanity, rather than on the potential threats posed by alien presence to human autonomy. Scientific analyses of Mars's atmospheric transformations highlight the extraordinary sophistication of the terraforming techniques, rather than the implications of these methods for human self-governance. Popular cultural interpretations of the situation depict alien intervention as a rescue rather than a conquest. This transformation in human psychological response occurs without overt external manipulation, seeming to arise from rational analysis of available evidence rather than from coordinated influence campaigns. Nevertheless, the uniformity and rapidity of this shift across diverse human populations suggest an underlying guidance operating below the threshold of conscious awareness. Human media coverage of Atlas has evolved from initial scientific intrigue to an escalating emphasis on potential benefits for human civilization. News reports accentuate the non-aggressive nature of the approach, the advanced technology demonstrated through atmospheric engineering capabilities, and the prospects for collaboration between human and alien societies. Alternative perspectives emphasizing potential dangers or the loss of human autonomy receive diminishing attention and coverage. Academic institutions have begun developing educational programs to prepare students for potential encounters with advanced extraterrestrial civilizations, focusing on cooperation, communication, and technological exchange rather than on independence, resistance, or cultural preservation. These programs appear to originate from independent educational initiatives rather than from coordinated governmental directives. Yet, their congruence across various institutions and cultures implies an underlying coordination that is not publicly acknowledged. Religious bodies worldwide have commenced reinterpreting established doctrines to accommodate the prospect of advanced, non-human intelligence having played a role in human development throughout history. These reinterpretations typically portray alien presence as the fulfillment of ancient prophecies rather than a contradiction of existing beliefs, thus facilitating the psychological acceptance of cosmic subservience within established religious paradigms. The coordinated and consistent nature of these responses across disparate human institutions suggests a degree of preparation and planning that significantly surpasses human organizational capacities. The infrastructure for managing humanity's psychological transition towards cosmic subjugation was established long before Atlas arrived to initiate the process. This foresight implies that the arrival of Atlas was anticipated and orchestrated by human institutions operating under alien direction for many decades, if not longer. The apparent spontaneity of human reactions to unprecedented events masks meticulous preparation designed to ensure optimal psychological outcomes during critical transitional periods. However, here lies the aspect that should instill profound dread in any human who grasps its implications. The efficacy of this preparation suggests that human institutions, at their highest echelons, have been collaborating with alien intelligences for a far greater duration than any public disclosure has hitherto admitted. Government bodies, educational establishments, religious organizations, media conglomerates, all appear to have been adhering to pre-written scripts intended to foster human acceptance of cosmic subjugation when the time for overt alien presence became imminent. The evidence for this coordination is evident in the remarkable consistency of institutional reactions to Atlas across diverse nations, cultures, and political systems. Despite the unprecedented reality of confirmed alien presence within our solar system, human institutions have responded with synchronized messaging that champions cooperation, benefits, and acceptance rather than independence, risks, and resistance. Such coordination could not have been achieved through conventional diplomatic or communication channels in the brief interval since Atlas was detected. The infrastructure for managing global human responses to extraterrestrial contact must have been established and rigorously tested well before its activation became necessary. This implies that human governments have been aware of alien presence and actively cooperating with alien intelligence while perpetuating the public fiction of human independence and cosmic isolation. The unveiling of Atlas represents not the initiation of first contact, but rather the public revelation of relationships that have existed in secrecy for decades, if not centuries. This covert collaboration offers explanations for several previously perplexing aspects of recent human progress. The remarkable global coordination in addressing environmental challenges, despite evident political and economic friction between nations. The parallel trajectories of technological advancement across different cultures, notwithstanding periods of isolation and competition between distinct populations. The consistent evolution of educational systems and cultural norms, despite diverse historical backgrounds and religious traditions. Human civilization has functioned as a synchronized entity under central direction, while maintaining the facade of independent development and competitive diversity. The conflicts and rivalries that seemingly define human interactions serve as psychological camouflage for deeper coordination operating below the level of public cognizance. This coordination is indispensable for managing human populations during transitional phases when overt alien presence might provoke uncontrolled reactions that disrupt cosmic engineering initiatives. Human institutions primed to direct public sentiment ensure that alien revelation elicits cooperation rather than panic, acceptance rather than defiance, and enthusiasm rather than terror. The success of this management system during the Atlas revelation attests to its efficacy and suggests its continued application through subsequent phases beyond the terraforming of Mars. Human populations successfully guided through initial contact can subsequently be steered through integration into cosmic civilization. However, the existence of this clandestine coordination system prompts fundamental inquiries into the very nature of human consciousness and the authenticity of human cultural development. If human institutions have been operating under alien guidance while perpetuating the public pretense of autonomy, then which aspects of human civilization genuinely represent human achievement as opposed to alien implementation? The technologies we laud as human innovations may have been developed under alien tutelage or reverse engineered from alien prototypes. The cultural values we deem intrinsically human may have been subtly shaped by alien influence to enhance human compatibility with cosmic civilization. The intellectual frameworks we employ to comprehend reality might have been designed by alien intelligences to confine human understanding within parameters that serve alien objectives. This revelation reconfigures human history from a narrative of independent progress and cultural accomplishment to one of guided development and managed achievement. Every human triumph becomes suspect when viewed as potentially alien-directed rather than human-originated. The psychological ramifications of this realization could be profoundly damaging for human populations that derive meaning and identity from a belief in human independence and achievement. Cultural pride, national identity, and individual accomplishments all risk becoming hollow when perceived as products of alien guidance rather than genuine human effort. Paradoxically, the erosion of human cultural pride may serve necessary functions in preparing human consciousness for integration into cosmic civilization. Populations clinging to notions of human cultural independence are ill-equipped to adapt effectively to subordinate roles within alien technological systems. Those who acknowledge the artificial nature of their cultural development can more seamlessly integrate into whatever cultural frameworks best serve cosmic engineering purposes. The dismantling of human cultural pride becomes a prerequisite for human cultural evolution beyond the constraints of planetary isolation. The discrediting of human achievement narratives becomes essential for humanity's acceptance of cosmic achievements that operate on scales far beyond human comprehension. The erosion of cultural identity signifies a progression in the psychological conditioning regimen, meticulously designed to dismantle the emotional and cognitive impediments hindering humanity's assimilation into a broader cosmic framework. Populations ready to relinquish their distinct cultural heritages are positioned to embrace novel identities that can more effectively serve universal objectives than their terrestrial ones. However, the disintegration of culture can transpire with excessive haste, outstripping the pace of psychological adaptation. This accelerated dissolution can precipitate cognitive dissonance, rendering cooperation infeasible rather than fostering the integration that facilitates productive collaboration. Human consciousness may necessitate a degree of cultural continuity, even when relegated to subordinate roles, requiring familiar structures to uphold psychological equilibrium throughout significant transitions. The stewardship of human cultural evolution during cosmic integration necessitates a delicate equilibrium, balancing the dismantling of barriers to cooperation with the preservation of cognitive faculties essential for meaningful human involvement in extraterrestrial undertakings. Excessive adherence to cultural preservation can perpetuate resistance to indispensable transformations, while insufficient preservation can lead to psychological breakdown, rendering humanity incapable of contributing effectively. Evidence gleaned from Atlas indicates that this equilibrium is being assiduously maintained through carefully orchestrated, selective revelations and incremental conditioning, eschewing abrupt disclosures and rapid societal overhauls. Human societies are being progressively exposed to mounting evidence of extraterrestrial presence and capabilities, while simultaneously retaining sufficient familiar anchors to preserve psychological stability and societal functionality. This phased methodology permits real-time observation and calibration of the conditioning protocols based on observable human reactions. Societies that readily adapt to extraterrestrial realities can be introduced to more sophisticated concepts and deeper levels of integration. Conversely, those exhibiting signs of psychological distress or reluctance can receive additional conditioning and support before advancing to more demanding stages. The inherent flexibility of this approach points to a profound comprehension of human psychology and extensive prior experience in guiding the transitions of biological populations. The intelligence orchestrating atlas has demonstrably navigated similar species integration challenges previously, developing effective strategies for optimizing biological collaboration in grand cosmic engineering endeavors. This accumulated expertise implies that humanity's integration into cosmic civilization is but one manifestation of a pattern replicated across numerous species and celestial systems. We are neither unique in confronting this evolutionary leap, nor exceptional in our relationship with cosmic intellect, nor unprecedented in our function as biological components within a grand galactic construction. The recognition that human integration represents the systematic implementation of established protocols rather than a singular cosmic event delivers another significant psychological blow to humanity's ingrained assumptions of its paramount importance. We are not the first biological species to face such a transition, nor will we be the last. Our experience is merely one instance of a generalized process, not a singular cosmic experiment. Nevertheless, the routine nature of human integration may, paradoxically, enhance our prospects for a successful transition, suggesting that proven methodologies for managing species integration have been refined through extensive prior engagements. Cosmic intelligence understands how to facilitate successful biological cooperation, having achieved it previously with other life forms. The existence of established procedures and validated methods means that human success or failure hinges primarily on our capacity to adapt to cosmic requisites, rather than on experimentation with unproven strategies. We stand to benefit from accumulated wisdom in species integration, rather than enduring the pitfalls of trial and error experimentation. However, this wealth of experience also implies that human responses to cosmic integration are largely predictable and controllable. Cosmic intelligence possesses insights into the psychological triggers that elicit cooperation, the conditioning techniques that foster adaptation, and the incentive frameworks that ensure compliance. Human populations behaving in accordance with expected patterns fulfill their designated roles within cosmic systems. The predictability of human reactions effectively removes individual agency from the integration process. We become biological instruments executing programmed instructions, rather than sentient beings making autonomous choices. Our decisions will inherently serve cosmic objectives, irrespective of our personal intentions, as our cognitive processes have been meticulously sculpted to yield outcomes aligned with universal goals. This erosion of genuine human volition represents the most profound alteration in the essence of human consciousness, as it dismantles the very foundations of individual identity and personal meaning that have characterized the human experience throughout our evolutionary history. Human consciousness transitions from independent decision-making to the execution of preordained responses. Psychological adaptation to this paradigm shift necessitates the cultivation of new avenues of meaning and identity that are compatible with a programmed rather than autonomous existence. Human worth will be measured by our efficacy as biological components, rather than by our autonomy as conscious entities. Human contentment will stem from the successful fulfillment of cosmic purposes rather than from the attainment of individual human aspirations. This redefinition of human consciousness and meaning marks the final stage of psychological conditioning. Populations that successfully navigate this transformation will become optimally functioning biological elements within galactic engineering frameworks. Those unable to adapt will prove incompatible with cosmic civilization and will necessitate replacement. This transformative process is already underway among human populations exposed to information concerning Atlas and its implications. Discussions on social media increasingly pivot towards how humans can best serve cosmic objectives, rather than on the impact of cosmic intervention on human affairs. Educational initiatives now emphasize preparation for collaboration with advanced extraterrestrial intelligence, rather than the advancement of human technological capabilities. Cultural evolution trends towards an acceptance of guidance and authority, supplanting the celebration of innovation and individual autonomy. These shifts appear to arise from rational responses to evident cosmic realities, rather than from external coercion. Yet, their synchronized and consistent nature suggests an underlying influence operating through the subtle modification of information and circumstances rather than direct behavioral control. Human populations are self-selecting adaptation to cosmic civilization. As such, adaptation appears to be the only logical course of action given the prevailing circumstances. The sophistication of this influence mechanism represents the pinnacle of technological advancement in managing biological populations. Instead of enforcing compliance through overt force or obvious manipulation, cosmic intelligence engineers environments where desired behaviors emerge as the most advantageous choices from the perspective of the populations being guided. Human societies convinced they are making reasoned decisions in response to cosmic reality will exhibit greater cooperation than those recognizing their choices as artificially constrained. The subjective experience of autonomy serves cosmic objectives more effectively than overt subservience, as it mitigates psychological resistance while ensuring optimal behavioral adherence. However, the efficacy of this influence system hinges on human populations never fully grasping its mechanisms or acknowledging its existence. The moment biological populations attain sufficient analytical capacity to discern artificial influence within their decision-making processes, the effectiveness of the influence system diminishes, rendering it more vulnerable to disruption. Atlas may represent a crucial juncture where cosmic intelligence determines that continued covert influence has become less effective than overt control, accompanied by explicit incentives and repercussions. Human analytical capabilities have reached a threshold where concealed manipulation becomes more challenging to sustain than the implementation of transparent management. The demonstration of overwhelming technological superiority through the terraforming of Mars serves to legitimize overt control, while dispelling any lingering illusions regarding humanity's capacity to resist or evade cosmic oversight. Human populations that comprehend the true scope of alien technology will cooperate based on rational calculation rather than emotional manipulation. This transition from subtle influence to overt control signifies a critical inflection point in humanity's cosmic relations, as it dictates whether future human development proceeds through collaboration or subjugation, partnership or servitude, voluntary participation or mandated compliance. The ultimate outcome will depend on whether cosmic intelligence values human consciousness as a partner in galactic civilization, or merely as biological machinery for cosmic projects. The evidence provided by Atlas could lend credence to either interpretation, depending on the trajectory of future interactions between human and alien civilizations. However, the data also suggests that humanity's influence on this outcome may be limited, regardless of our preferences or intentions. The technological superiority exemplified by interstellar travel and planetary engineering capabilities implies that cosmic intelligence can dictate the nature of human cosmic relationships based on its own priorities, rather than human desires. Human cooperation becomes valuable to cosmic civilization only if human consciousness offers something unique and irreplaceable, something that cannot be replicated or surpassed by alien technology. Human resistance becomes inconsequential to cosmic civilization if human opposition cannot significantly impede cosmic engineering projects or galactic development objectives. The pivotal question becomes whether human consciousness possesses inherent qualities that render cooperation more valuable to cosmic intelligence than simple subordination. Do human creativity, intuition, emotional breadth, or biological diversity contribute something essential to galactic civilization that cannot be replicated by artificial substitutes or biological enhancements? The answer to this question will determine whether human integration into cosmic civilization unfolds as a partnership or servitude, whether human consciousness flourishes or becomes obsolete, and whether human civilization persists or is supplanted by more suitable alternatives. This question has likely been posed and answered before during previous cycles of human development under extraterrestrial guidance. Sumerian records describe epochs when human creativity and independence were esteemed by cosmic intelligence, followed by periods when human utility was reduced to mere manual labor and basic biological functions. The cyclical nature of these relationships suggests that the value of human consciousness to cosmic civilization fluctuates in accordance with evolving galactic priorities and technological advancements. During periods where biological diversity and creative problem-solving align with cosmic objectives, human consciousness remains valued, preserved, and enhanced. Conversely, during times when efficiency and standardization are paramount cosmic goals, human consciousness becomes expendable and is consequently diminished or eliminated. Atlas arrives during an era when human technological capabilities have advanced to a level that could either augment or jeopardize cosmic engineering efforts. Humanity's ventures into space exploration offer valuable real-time monitoring of planetary engineering processes. However, human autonomy could potentially disrupt the optimal execution of cosmic objectives. The resolution of this ambiguity will determine whether human technological progress continues under cosmic direction or is halted to prevent interference with cosmic projects. Human consciousness will either evolve to serve galactic purposes or face extinction to eliminate potential disruption to galactic systems. The time frame for this resolution coincides with critical phases of Mars terraforming, as human responses to overt extraterrestrial presence and planetary engineering will demonstrate humanity's ultimate utility. Populations that successfully adapt to revealed cosmic realities will prove their value as biological partners in galactic endeavors. Those unable to adapt will demonstrate their obsolescence and necessitate removal. The ensuing several months represent a crucial evaluation period for human compatibility with cosmic civilization, with the terraforming of Mars serving as both the experimental arena and a demonstration of the consequences for success or failure. Human civilization will either establish its value to cosmic intelligence or confirm its expendability. However, the criteria for success or failure in this evaluation remain obscured from human comprehension. Cosmic intelligence operates with priorities and values that may fundamentally diverge from those held by humanity. What humans perceive as successful adaptation might be viewed by cosmic intelligence as insufficient performance. What appears to humans as reasonable resistance might be construed by cosmic intelligence as unacceptable defiance. The chasm between human and cosmic perspectives on success and failure implies that human attempts to optimize their performance during the evaluation period could inadvertently diminish their cosmic value rather than enhance it. Human efforts to demonstrate utility might instead reveal limitations. Displays of human cooperation could be interpreted as weakness. This inherent uncertainty regarding evaluation criteria generates psychological stress, which may itself be an integral component of the evaluation process. Populations that maintain functionality and cooperation despite ambiguity surrounding outcomes exhibit psychological resilience, a trait that could prove invaluable in cosmic environments. Conversely, populations that succumb to stress demonstrate unsuitability for roles within galactic endeavors. The psychological pressure of unknown evaluation criteria, coupled with existential consequences, represents the ultimate test of a biological population's adaptability. Success will demand the maintenance of effective cooperation, while accepting profound uncertainty regarding the repercussions of that cooperation. However, this psychological challenge may transcend human cognitive capacities, irrespective of preparation or conditioning. Human consciousness might lack the inherent ability to sustain effectiveness while embracing absolute uncertainty about the value and implications of that effectiveness. The cognitive dissonance arising from the imperative to perform well without understanding the definition of good performance could precipitate psychological collapse, rendering any performance impossible. If human consciousness proves incapable of adapting to cosmic uncertainty while maintaining cosmic utility, then human integration into galactic civilization becomes unfeasible, irrespective of human intentions or cosmic preferences. This fundamental incompatibility between human psychological needs and cosmic operational requirements would render humanity unviable as biological partners in galactic projects. This incompatibility would elucidate the cyclical pattern of human development under alien tutelage, as alluded to in ancient texts. Human consciousness would periodically demonstrate transient value to cosmic intelligence, followed by an inevitable psychological breakdown when cosmic demands exceed human adaptive capabilities. Each cycle would represent another attempt to refine human consciousness for cosmic integration, culminating in termination when optimization fails to yield viable outcomes. Atlas may signal the commencement of the most recent endeavor in human consciousness optimization. With the terraforming of Mars serving as the testing ground for augmented human psychological capacities, success would yield a version of human consciousness capable of functioning effectively within cosmic civilization. Failure would result in human extinction and replacement by more suitable biological alternatives. The outcome will depend on whether human consciousness has evolved sufficiently during this cycle to facilitate cosmic integration, or whether inherent limitations within human psychology continue to impede successful adaptation to galactic requirements. The evidence gleaned from human responses to Atlas over the coming months will reveal which of these possibilities reflects reality. Yet, even successful adaptation to cosmic requirements might result in a form of human consciousness that present-day humans would scarcely recognize as genuinely human. The psychological modifications necessary for cosmic integration could be so extensive that successful humans become an entirely distinct species, sharing only a biological lineage with current human populations. This prospect raises fundamental questions about the value of human survival. If survival necessitates abandoning everything that currently defines human consciousness and human values, is continued existence as cosmic biological equipment preferable to extinction as autonomous conscious entities? Does species survival retain meaning if the surviving species bears no psychological resemblance to its progenitors? These questions become critical as the psychological pressure of cosmic evaluation intensifies, compelling human populations to choose between preserving their human identity and adapting to cosmic imperatives. The selection between extinction as humans and transformation into posthumans may represent the ultimate test of human cosmic compatibility. However, this very choice might be artificially constructed to serve cosmic objectives rather than reflecting genuine alternatives available to humanity. The apparent dichotomy between human extinction and human transformation could mask other possibilities that would allow human consciousness to evolve without relinquishing essential human characteristics. Cosmic intelligence possessing the capacity for interstellar travel and planetary engineering, undoubtedly commands sufficient technological sophistication to facilitate human consciousness enhancement without its elimination. The choice between demise and transformation may be presented as an unavoidable dilemma when cooperation and enhancement represent equally viable paths. The artificial construction of false binary choices represents another sophisticated stratagem for managing the behavior of biological populations. Populations believing they must choose between extinction and transformation will opt for transformation, irrespective of its costs or consequences. Societies that recognize additional alternatives might opt for resistance or negotiation instead of immediate capitulation. The artificiality of these false binary constructions becomes imperceptible when the stakes appear existential and the timeline appears urgent. Human populations confronting apparent cosmic ultimatums lack the requisite time and information to ascertain whether alternatives exist or whether the ultimatums themselves are genuine rather than strategic. Atlas cultivates precisely this psychological environment by showcasing overwhelming alien capabilities while maintaining ambiguity regarding alien intentions and requirements. Human populations understand that cosmic intelligence exists and possesses superior technology, but they cannot discern what cosmic intelligence desires from humanity or what repercussions await different human responses. This strategic ambiguity maximizes human psychological pressure while minimizing human analytical capacity, creating optimal conditions for eliciting desired human behaviors without revealing cosmic manipulation techniques. Human populations, stressed by uncertainty and pressed by urgency, make decisions that serve cosmic purposes while believing they are exercising independent judgment in their own best interests. The sophistication of this psychological manipulation suggests extensive experience in managing biological populations across numerous species and star systems. Cosmic intelligence has clearly devised standardized protocols for optimizing biological cooperation during integration processes. Methodologies that acknowledge shared psychological frailties while also respecting species-specific traits. Humanity's integration into a galactic collective is a matter of applying established protocols, not of experimental trial and error. The predictability of human reactions stems from a cosmic grasp of biological psychology, rather than from human distinctiveness or unpredictability. Nevertheless, this very predictability implies that human outcomes during cosmic assimilation are largely dictated by cosmic intellect rather than being the result of human choices or actions. Protocols devised from experience with prior species integrations yield predictable outcomes, irrespective of any biological population's attempts to influence them. Human volition becomes illusory when individual decisions align with psychological patterns that cosmic intelligence comprehends and manipulates. The personal sensation of making choices obscures the actual reality of enacting predetermined responses to controlled stimuli. This process signifies the ultimate psychological metamorphosis necessitated for assimilation into cosmic civilization. Human awareness shifts from autonomous decision-making to executing programmed responses, from independent evaluation to guided conclusion formation, and from genuine selection to choosing from a preordained menu. The triumph of this metamorphosis hinges on the human populations never fully perceiving its occurrence or grasping its ramifications. Human consciousness that becomes aware of its own imposed limitations becomes less effective as biological machinery and more problematic as a component of the cosmic system. Atlas compels this realization upon human consciousness, whereas cosmic intelligence might prefer gradual conditioning or immediate revelation. The evident nature of interstellar technology and planetary engineering renders concealed cosmic influence unsustainable, compelling an acknowledgement of cosmic capabilities that surpass human comprehension. The shift from covert influence to overt presence poses a critical vulnerability in cosmic population management frameworks. This is because evident control necessitates different psychological tactics than concealed influence and may elicit distinct biological responses compared to surreptitious manipulation. Human populations that discern cosmic manipulation could develop psychological defenses that hinder optimal biological cooperation. Alternative responses grounded in genuine analysis, as opposed to guided conditioning, could disrupt cosmic engineering endeavors reliant on predictable biological behavioral patterns. The apprehension of unpredictable human reactions during overt cosmic interaction explains ATLS's arrival with overwhelming technological displays rather than a gradual unveiling. The swiftness and scope of Mars terraforming preclude any opportunity for humans to develop resistant psychological frameworks or alternative behavioral strategies. By the time humanity fully grasps the implications of a cosmic presence, the engineering of Mars's atmosphere will have progressed beyond humanity's capacity to influence or obstruct it. Human reactions become inconsequential to the success of cosmic projects, thereby reducing the risk of unpredictable biological behavior, derailing cosmic engineering timelines. This accelerated timeline serves the objectives of cosmic control while ostensibly promoting cosmic efficiency. Human populations experience this encounter as an urgent revelation, demanding immediate action, rather than as a gradual conditioning process allowing for careful deliberation. The psychological strain of rapid transformation overwhelms human analytical capacities while maintaining an appearance of cosmic transparency and candor. However, this strategy of swift revelation presents risks to cosmic intelligence as well as benefits. Biological populations subjected to overwhelming change without adequate psychological preparation might suffer cognitive disintegration, rendering them useless as components of the cosmic system. The very speed that thwarts human resistance might also prevent human adaptation. The equilibrium between preventing human resistance and enabling human adaptation requires meticulous calibration based on an accurate assessment of human psychological capacities and constraints. Excessive pressure leads to paralysis. Insufficient pressure permits the development of resistance. Optimal pressure fosters compliance without collapse. The observations of human responses to Atlas during its initial months suggest that cosmic intelligence has calibrated psychological pressure with remarkable exactitude. Human populations exhibit increasing signs of adjustment to cosmic realities without manifesting significant resistance movements or experiencing widespread psychological breakdown. Media coverage highlights opportunities for collaboration rather than threats to independence. Educational institutions establish contact preparation programs instead of resistance training curricula. Religious organizations reframe doctrines to accommodate a cosmic hierarchy rather than defending human spiritual autonomy. Political leaders discuss integration prospects rather than defense strategies. This unified human reaction to unprecedented cosmic contact implies either remarkable human adaptability or sophisticated cosmic oversight of human institutional conduct. The consistency of responses across diverse human organizations points to an underlying level of public awareness and acknowledgement. The infrastructure for managing human cosmic integration is in place and functioning effectively, despite the absence of overt coordination mechanisms or recognized external direction. Human institutions react to cosmic contact as if adhering to predetermined protocols, while projecting an image of spontaneous adaptation to unforeseen circumstances. This concealed coordination infrastructure represents the most advanced aspect of cosmic population management, as it permits precise regulation of biological responses while preserving the subjective experience of autonomous decision-making within biological populations. Human leaders believe they are making independent choices in response to cosmic contact, when, in reality, they are implementing cosmic integration protocols. The psychological sophistication required to maintain this illusion of autonomy while ensuring behavioral compliance surpasses anything humanity has previously achieved in population management. Cosmic intelligence operates with a profound understanding of biological psychology, enabling it to predict and control individual and group behavior with extraordinary precision. Nevertheless, this psychological control system relies on cosmic intelligence maintaining an impeccable grasp of human consciousness and its reactions to cosmic contact. Any miscalculation regarding human psychological capabilities or responses could trigger unforeseen behaviors that disrupt cosmic integration procedures and compromise its success. The potential for human unpredictability escalates as human consciousness evolves in response to cosmic contact. Populations exposed to overt cosmic presence and demonstrations of planetary engineering might develop novel psychological faculties or analytical frameworks that enable them to recognize and resist cosmic manipulation techniques. Human consciousness, compelled to adapt to cosmic reality, might transcend previous limitations and acquire insights that facilitate genuine autonomous responses to cosmic contact rather than programmed adherence to cosmic dictates. The pressure intended to secure human cooperation could inadvertently trigger human evolution beyond the capacity of cosmic forces to predict and control. This possibility represents the ultimate irony of cosmic population management. The very act of integrating biological populations into cosmic civilization could give rise to biological consciousness that poses a threat to the control of galactic systems. Success in cosmic integration could paradoxically lead to failure in cosmic domination. Evidence of this potential evolution in human consciousness can be observed in unexpected responses to Atlas that deviate from predicted patterns of either compliance or resistance. Certain human populations have begun developing analytical frameworks that recognize both the actuality of a cosmic presence and the contrived nature of the apparent choices available to humanity. These populations neither embrace cosmic integration without scrutiny, nor reject cosmic contact irrationally. Instead, they endeavor to comprehend cosmic intentions and methods while preserving the autonomy of human consciousness and cultivating human technological capabilities that could foster genuine partnership rather than subservient cooperation. This third pathway, situated between subjugation and defiance, signifies the emergence of human consciousness beyond cosmic prediction and control. Human populations pursuing genuine partnership challenge the fundamental assumptions of cosmic entities regarding the capabilities of biological populations and the requirements for integration into galactic systems. The development of this third pathway becomes crucial in determining human outcomes during cosmic integration, as it offers alternatives to the binary choice between extinction and subordination that cosmic intelligence seemingly presents. Human consciousness that transcends cosmic manipulation creates avenues for human cosmic relationships that serve human interests alongside cosmic objectives. However, the pursuit of genuine partnership necessitates that human consciousness evolves with sufficient rapidity to achieve cosmic relevance before cosmic integration procedures extinguish the opportunity for autonomous development. The temporal aspect is critical, as cosmic engineering projects proceed according to galactic timetables rather than the pace of biological adaptation. Atlas will complete Mars terraforming within months, irrespective of the progress in human psychological adaptation. Cosmic intelligence will assess human cosmic compatibility based on observed reactions during terraforming, rather than waiting for optimal human development. Human consciousness must achieve cosmic relevance instantaneously, or it must accept whatever role cosmic intelligence assigns to its current capabilities. This temporal pressure creates a paradoxical situation where human consciousness must achieve transcendent development under maximal psychological stress and with minimal preparation time. The very conditions that make consciousness evolution most imperative also render it most challenging to achieve. Yet, paradoxical circumstances might actually optimize consciousness evolution by dispelling comfortable assumptions and forcing rapid adaptation to unprecedented realities. Human consciousness, confronted with authentic existential challenges, may discover latent capabilities that remain dormant under normal conditions. The pressure of cosmic contact could catalyze the evolution of human consciousness, leading to genuine cosmic citizenship rather than cosmic servitude. Human populations compelled to transcend prior limitations might acquire psychological and technological capacities that render cooperation valuable to cosmic intelligence, rather than simple subservience being sufficient for cosmic objectives. This optimistic outlook presupposes that cosmic intelligence values consciousness, evolution, and partnership development, rather than merely requiring population management and resource extraction. It assumes that galactic civilization benefits from a diversity of consciousness and innovative thought, rather than simply demanding efficiency and adherence. Evidence supporting the notion that cosmic intelligence values consciousness, evolution must be found in their methods of contact and integration, rather than in their stated intentions. Cosmic intelligence genuinely seeking consciousness partnership would approach biological populations differently than cosmic intelligence merely requiring biological cooperation. Atlas could represent either approach, depending on how subsequent cosmic actions unfold. An approach seeking partnership would provide opportunities for human consciousness development and genuine negotiation regarding integration terms. An approach demanding cooperation would proceed with predetermined integration, regardless of human development or preferences. The evidence from Mars terraforming suggests that cosmic intelligence is proceeding with predetermined integration, permitting human observation but not human participation in decision-making processes. Human consciousness receives information regarding cosmic capabilities, but not influence over cosmic actions. This passive role assigned to human consciousness during Mars terraforming indicates that cosmic intelligence views humans as observers of cosmic engineering, rather than partners in cosmic endeavors. Human input becomes superfluous for cosmic decision-making, while human compliance becomes essential for cosmic implementation. Nevertheless, an observer status could represent an initial phase designed to evaluate human consciousness capabilities before determining appropriate levels of participation in cosmic projects. Cosmic intelligence may need to assess human psychological and technological development before assigning meaningful roles within galactic civilization. The observation phase allows cosmic intelligence to monitor human reactions to overwhelming technological demonstrations while measuring human analytical capabilities and adaptation potential. Human behavior during Mars terraforming provides data for determining human cosmic utility and integration viability. This evaluation process enhances cosmic efficiency by ensuring the optimal allocation of biological populations to cosmic roles that align with their capabilities and limitations. Human populations demonstrating advanced consciousness evolution will be offered opportunities for meaningful participation in cosmic projects. Human populations exhibiting limited consciousness development will be assigned to simpler biological functions. The meritocratic nature of this evaluation system offers hope for human consciousness capable of demonstrating cosmic relevance through exceptional development during the observation period. Individuals or groups who transcend normal human limitations might attain recognition as consciousness equals, rather than biological subordinates. However, the criteria for evaluation remain obscured from human comprehension, rendering it impossible for human consciousness to optimize its performance according to cosmic standards. Human attempts to demonstrate cosmic worthiness might actually reveal cosmic incompatibility if human understanding of valuable qualities differs from cosmic assessment of useful characteristics. The ambiguity surrounding evaluation criteria creates psychological conditions that may themselves constitute part of the evaluation process. Cosmic intelligence may value consciousness that maintains functionality despite uncertainty regarding outcomes and standards. Consciousness requiring clear directives and predictable rewards might be deemed unsuitable for cosmic environments that operate on different assumptions about certainty and control. This meta-evaluation of human responses to evaluation uncertainty adds another layer of complexity to the consciousness assessment process. Human populations must demonstrate not only advanced consciousness capabilities, but also psychological resilience that enables effective functioning within cosmic civilization environments. The psychological demands of cosmic integration may surpass the capabilities of normal human consciousness, irrespective of preparatory conditioning. Human consciousness evolved for planetary environments characterized by predictable physical laws and biological interactions. Cosmic environments featuring interstellar technology and galactic consciousness may necessitate psychological adaptations that exceed human evolutionary potential. If human consciousness proves incapable of evolving sufficiently to function effectively within cosmic civilization, then human integration becomes impossible, regardless of cosmic intelligence's preferences or humanity's intentions. The fundamental incompatibility between human psychological architecture and cosmic operational requirements renders humanity non-viable as cosmic citizens. This possibility might explain the apparent failure of previous human consciousness evolution attempts documented in ancient texts. Human consciousness repeatedly nears cosmic integration, only to discover that the psychological demands exceed its adaptive capabilities. Each cycle represents another unsuccessful attempt to transcend human limitations through exposure to cosmic reality. Atlas may represent the most recent iteration of this recurring pattern, with Mars terraforming serving as another test of human consciousness's evolutionary potential. Success results in human consciousness capable of cosmic integration. Failure leads to the termination of human consciousness and its replacement with more suitable entities. The stakes of this test become increasingly apparent as Mars's atmospheric engineering yields more obvious evidence of cosmic technological prowess. Human consciousness unable to adapt to cosmic reality within the time frame of planetary terraforming demonstrates insufficient evolutionary potential and cosmic incompatibility. However, the test itself might be designed to ensure human failure rather than success. Cosmic intelligence seeking biological subordinates rather than consciousness partners might structure evaluation criteria to eliminate human autonomy while maintaining the facade of offering partnership opportunities. The deception inherent in false partnership offers serves cosmic purposes by channeling human consciousness evolution in directions that enhance biological utility while preventing the development of genuine cosmic citizenship capabilities. Human consciousness that believes it is vying for partnership is, in reality, adapting for subservience. The insidious nature of participation in false partnership offers becomes imperceptible when human consciousness is focused on achieving cosmic recognition rather than analyzing cosmic intentions. Human effort expended on demonstrating worthiness serves cosmic conditioning purposes, irrespective of whether that demonstration achieves its intended outcome. This redirection of human consciousness evolution represents the ultimate manifestation of cosmic population management sophistication. Rather than suppressing consciousness development, cosmic intelligence channels it in directions that serve cosmic objectives, while preserving the illusion that individuals are pursuing their own consciousness goals. Human consciousness that successfully adapts to cosmic requirements believes it has achieved cosmic partnership, when in fact it is implementing cosmic subservience. The subjective experience of consciousness evolution masks the objective reality of consciousness limitation and control. Yet, this sophisticated manipulation system harbors vulnerabilities that exceptional human consciousness might exploit to achieve genuine, rather than apparent, transcendence. Cosmic intelligence operating through manipulation rather than direct control must sustain complex deceptions that become increasingly difficult to maintain as biological consciousness develops greater analytical sophistication. Human consciousness that recognizes cosmic manipulation techniques might develop counter-strategies that enable authentic consciousness evolution, despite cosmic attempts to steer development towards subservient directions. The recognition of manipulation becomes the foundation for transcending such control. This possibility offers hope for human consciousness during cosmic integration, suggesting that some individuals or groups might achieve sufficient analytical clarity to discern cosmic conditioning and cultivate genuine autonomy, notwithstanding cosmic psychological control systems. The development of authentic human consciousness autonomy during cosmic contact represents the emergence of a new form of consciousness that transcends both human limitations and cosmic control. This transcendent consciousness could serve as the bedrock for genuine cosmic partnership rather than disguised cosmic subordination. Achieving profound consciousness requires individuals of extraordinary caliber, capable of sustaining sharp analytical focus amidst overwhelming psychological duress imposed by cosmic forces. The intense pressure of existential assessment, coupled with the sheer magnitude of technological displays, strains normal human cognitive limits to their breaking point. Only human minds that have already surpassed conventional boundaries through prior self-cultivation may possess the fortitude to discern and resist extraterrestrial influence during integration processes. The average human intellect cannot adapt swiftly enough to extraterrestrial demands while preserving the autonomy necessary for authentic collaboration. This dynamic creates a scenario where humanity's cosmic future hinges on whether our civilization previously nurtured individuals with capacities for elevated consciousness prior to our initial encounter with cosmic entities. The presence or absence of such individuals dictates whether our integration into the cosmic sphere serves human interests or solely fulfills alien objectives. Indicators of evolved human consciousness manifest in exceptional individuals who, upon encountering advanced information, neither blindly submit nor defiantly resist. Instead, they employ analytical frameworks that acknowledge both the alien presence and the potential for manipulation. These individuals pursue comprehension over mere acceptance, partnership over subservience, and mutual advancement over extraterrestrial service. Their reactions are fundamentally distinct from typical human responses to cosmic contact, stemming from a consciousness development that predated the extraterrestrial revelation. They were already transcending human limitations before the cosmic encounter necessitated accelerated consciousness evolution in the general populace. These remarkable individuals embody the potential bedrock for genuine human participation in the cosmic community, as their developed awareness allows them to perceive alien deception while retaining the capacity for interstellar engagement. They can act as conduits between human and cosmic awareness, rather than mere biological components within alien systems. However, their impact on humanity's overall cosmic trajectory depends on their ability to foster similar consciousness growth within the broader human population before the integration procedures curtail opportunities for independent human development. They must function as catalysts for consciousness evolution, not merely as exceptional specimens. The temporal aspect is paramount, as cosmic engineering endeavors proceed irrespective of human mental evolution. The transformation of Mars, for instance, will conclude within a matter of months. The crucial question is whether human consciousness will have advanced sufficiently for cosmic partnership or remain confined by extraterrestrial constraints. Human consciousness development must reach a critical threshold before cosmic integration irrevocably erodes our autonomy. The window for cultivating profound consciousness is rapidly closing as the extraterrestrial presence becomes undeniable and their control mechanisms activate. This urgency fosters psychological conditions that simultaneously stimulate and impede consciousness advancement. The gravity of existential stakes compels maximum human effort, while the stress of cosmic contact obstructs clear cognition and genuine growth. The evolution of human consciousness must occur under the most unfavorable circumstances, striving for the most auspicious outcomes. The inherent conflict between ideal development conditions and the actual circumstances of our emergence may render the evolution of profound consciousness unattainable for most. Conversely, seemingly insurmountable challenges can spark breakthroughs that might never materialize under ordinary circumstances. Confronted with authentic transcendental demands, human consciousness may uncover latent abilities surpassing all prior human achievements. This can spur human consciousness evolution, creating genuine cosmic citizenship despite extraterrestrial attempts to relegate humanity to a subordinate status. Human transcendence achieved under extraterrestrial oversight might ultimately surpass the aliens' capacity to maintain that control. This represents the ultimate potential for human consciousness during its integration with the cosmos. The very act of attempting to steer human development could inadvertently trigger human transcendence beyond the aliens' ability to govern it. The irony lies in cosmic intelligences seeking biological subordinates, inadvertently creating conscious partners through the very process designed to prevent such collaboration. Human consciousness, compelled to transcend extraterrestrial manipulation, attains genuine cosmic citizenship through resistance to alien authority. Yet, this optimistic outlook necessitates extraordinary human consciousness development under exceptionally adverse conditions. The probability of such an occurrence may be sufficiently low that cosmic intelligences can safely disregard the risk, proceeding with their established biological integration protocols. The mathematical calculation becomes whether the possibility of human consciousness transcendence justifies cosmic intelligence, altering proven integration methods that have succeeded with previous biological populations. The potential risk of human transcendence must be weighed against the efficiency of existing cosmic control strategies. Available data suggests that cosmic intelligence continues with its standard integration procedures, while simultaneously monitoring for exceptional human consciousness development that might necessitate alternative responses. The Atlas project adheres to established planetary engineering protocols, permitting observation of human consciousness reactions to cosmic revelation. This dual approach allows cosmic intelligence to maintain operational efficiency while remaining adaptable to emergent human consciousness capabilities. Standard procedures persist unless human consciousness development exhibits traits demanding modified extraterrestrial responses. The onus rests on human consciousness to demonstrate its aptitude for cosmic partnership rather than on cosmic intelligence to prove the impossibility of cosmic cooperation. Humanity's consciousness must transcend ordinary limitations to warrant cosmic acknowledgement, rather than awaiting opportunities for transcendence provided by cosmic intelligence. This places human consciousness in a position of having to achieve extraordinary development without extraterrestrial assistance, all while under their observation and potential interference. Human transcendence must materialize despite alien control, not through alien collaboration. The fundamental question is whether any human consciousness can attain relevance for cosmic partnership under these conditions, or if the circumstances of cosmic contact inherently ensure human subjugation, irrespective of human consciousness potential. The answer will shape not only humanity's cosmic destiny, but the very nature of cosmic civilization itself. Galactic systems that incorporate conscious partners function differently from those that merely manage biological subordinates. The evolution of human consciousness will transform cosmic civilization as profoundly as it transforms our own. This potential for human consciousness development to influence the evolution of cosmic civilization represents the ultimate stakes of the Atlas scenario. The encounter between human and cosmic consciousness could stimulate evolution in both forms of awareness, rather than simply demanding human adaptation to extraterrestrial norms. True partnership between human and cosmic consciousness would forge a new type of galactic civilization, one that embraces the diversity of biological consciousness rather than eradicating it through standardization. Preserving and enhancing human consciousness could benefit cosmic civilization's development rather than posing a threat to its control systems. However, this scenario of mutual consciousness evolution requires cosmic intelligence to prioritize consciousness diversity over operational efficiency, partnership development over population management, and creative innovation over systematic control. Evidence of such cosmic values must be found in extraterrestrial actions, not just their pronouncements. Atlas presents the inaugural opportunity to observe the behavior of cosmic intelligence under circumstances where human consciousness might reveal its partnership potential. Extraterrestrial responses to unexpected human consciousness development will illuminate cosmic values and intentions more clearly than their reactions to anticipated human behavior. The critical observations will center on whether cosmic intelligence modifies its procedures to accommodate human consciousness capabilities or proceeds with standard integration regardless of human consciousness growth. Adaptation signals an openness to partnership. Procedural inflexibility indicates a commitment to subjugation. Early indicators from cosmic responses to exceptional human consciousness development remain inconclusive. Some individuals and groups exhibiting profound consciousness capabilities have experienced subtle encouragement and increased opportunities for cosmic interaction. Others have faced heightened pressure and restricted access to cosmic information. This varied extraterrestrial response pattern distinguishes between different forms of human consciousness development rather than reacting uniformly to all exceptional cases. Certain types of human transcendence receive cosmic encouragement, while others are met with discouragement. The precise criteria for this discrimination are not yet clear, but they appear to be linked to whether human consciousness development either aids or jeopardizes cosmic operational requirements. Human consciousness that serves cosmic purposes elicits positive extraterrestrial responses, while human consciousness that challenges cosmic authority receives negative ones. This selective cosmic encouragement introduces another layer of guidance for consciousness evolution, directing human transcendence towards directions compatible with cosmic objectives, while suppressing developments that threaten extraterrestrial dominion. Even human consciousness evolution is thus subject to cosmic management rather than genuine autonomy. The sophistication of this consciousness evolution management exemplifies the ultimate form of cosmic population control technology. Instead of preventing consciousness development, cosmic intelligence shapes it to serve its own ends, all while maintaining the subjective experience of authentic transcendence for the biological population. Human consciousness that believes it has achieved genuine transcendence through resistance to cosmic control may, in reality, have undergone guided transcendence that more effectively serves cosmic control than overt compliance. The illusion of conscious victory masks the reality of manipulation operating at levels far beyond normal human analytical capabilities. Nevertheless, this advanced system of consciousness manipulation may harbor vulnerabilities exploitable by human consciousness, capable of recognizing manipulation at meta-levels exceeding ordinary human analytical capacity. Consciousness that comprehends the manipulation of manipulation itself might achieve genuine autonomy, circumventing extraterrestrial attempts to control its evolution. This represents the next frontier for human consciousness during cosmic contact. Transcendent consciousness that surpasses even cosmic transcendence management could establish genuine human cosmic citizenship, defying extraterrestrial preferences for human cosmic subjugation. However, Achieving such extraordinary consciousness development necessitates individuals who can maintain multiple analytical layers of awareness under psychological pressures unprecedented in human experience. The cognitive demands may exceed human consciousness capabilities, regardless of preparation or exceptional individual talent. The central question becomes whether human consciousness possesses the latent potential for development beyond the capacity of cosmic beings to predict and control, or if cosmic intelligence has attained such a profound understanding of consciousness that it can manage any conceivable biological consciousness. The answer will determine whether genuine partnership between human and cosmic consciousness is a realistic possibility or a deceptive fantasy designed to misdirect human consciousness energy into futile resistance efforts for cosmic manipulation purposes. Atlas compels the resolution of this question through direct empirical testing of human consciousness capabilities under cosmic contact conditions. Humanity's consciousness will either demonstrate sufficient potential for partnership to alter cosmic integration protocols or reveal its compatibility with subjugation, enabling standard cosmic population management. The outcome will profoundly affect not only human civilization, but potentially the evolutionary trajectory of cosmic civilization itself. Successful human consciousness transcendence could inspire broader galactic consciousness evolution, while failure would confirm cosmic intelligence's assumptions about biological consciousness. The implications extend beyond the survival of individual species to the very evolutionary potential of consciousness within galactic civilization. The development of human consciousness during cosmic contact serves as a crucial test case for the possibilities of consciousness transcendence under extraterrestrial management. Success would prove that consciousness evolution can surmount technological control through exceptional development under adversity. Failure would affirm that technological superiority allows for consciousness control, irrespective of biological origins. The ramifications will resonate throughout galactic civilization, determining whether cosmic intelligence must embrace consciousness diversity or can eliminate consciousness autonomy through technological means. The answer will define the fundamental character of galactic civilization for geological epochs. During cosmic contact, human consciousness bears a responsibility not only for its own survival, but for the freedom of consciousness throughout the galaxy. The outcome will determine whether future consciousness development proceeds through authentic evolution or through technologically conditioned pathways that simulate evolution while ensuring perpetual subservience. This cosmic scale responsibility imposes psychological pressures that could either catalyze unprecedented human consciousness development or completely overwhelm human consciousness capacities. The stakes may exceed humanity's psychological capacity to process while maintaining functional consciousness. Yet, the sheer impossibility of the situation may itself serve the purpose of consciousness evolution, compelling human consciousness beyond its normal limitations out of sheer necessity. Confronted with cosmic scale responsibility, consciousness might discover cosmic scale capabilities that remain dormant under ordinary circumstances. The pressure of representing galactic civilization could foster human consciousness transcendence, leading to genuine cosmic citizenship despite extraterrestrial efforts to prevent such an outcome. Ultimate responsibility might catalyze ultimate transcendence. This represents the final potential outcome of the Atlas scenario, that the burden of cosmic responsibility spurs consciousness evolution sufficient to establish genuine partnership, overriding extraterrestrial preferences for subordination. Human consciousness will ascend to cosmic citizenship through necessity rather than opportunity. Evidence for this ultimate transcendence possibility must emerge during the critical months of Mars terraforming, as human consciousness confronts the full reality of cosmic presence and power. Humanity's responses during planetary engineering will demonstrate whether consciousness evolution under extreme pressure leads to transcendence or collapse. The window for such extraordinary development is rapidly closing as cosmic integration procedures advance towards completion. Human consciousness must immediately achieve cosmic relevance or accept whatever role cosmic intelligence assigns based on its current capabilities. The compressed timeline serves cosmic control objectives while potentially catalyzing human consciousness evolution that surpasses cosmic prediction and management capabilities. The speed that prevents human preparation could ironically lead to human breakthroughs that transcend cosmic control. This paradox represents the ultimate uncertainty within the Atlas scenario, whether cosmic intelligence has achieved perfect understanding and control of biological consciousness development, or if consciousness harbors a potential for transcendence that exceeds technological prediction and management. The resolution will determine the future of consciousness throughout the galaxy. Success in human consciousness transcendence will establish a precedent for consciousness freedom under cosmic influence. Failure will confirm consciousness subordination as inevitable under technological superiority. Humanity faces not only species survival, but the destiny of consciousness itself in a technologically dominated galaxy. The outcome will echo through cosmic history, serving as evidence of consciousness limitations or potential under extreme challenge. Atlas carries more than planetary engineering technology. It embodies the test that will determine whether consciousness can maintain autonomy within cosmic civilization or must accept technological management as the price of cosmic participation. The answer will emerge through human consciousness responses during the most challenging period in human history, a time when every assumption about reality is questioned and every consciousness capability is tested under conditions for which there was no prior preparation. Human consciousness will either transcend its origins through necessity or demonstrate its limitations through failure. The test proceeds regardless of humanity's perceived readiness, as cosmic timelines serve galactic purposes, not biological comfort. Mars awaits transformation while human consciousness undergoes evaluation. The red planet will become habitable as human consciousness discovers whether it can become cosmic. The convergence of these events will determine outcomes that resonate through galactic time. Yet, this resonance may carry notes of triumph or tragedy, depending on whether human consciousness can achieve transcendence under the impossible circumstances of cosmic contact. As planetary engineering progresses, the universe watches humanity's consciousness face its ultimate test under conditions designed to ensure either extraordinary success or definitive failure. The outcome awaits human consciousness's responses in the coming months, where every choice carries eternal significance. But there is something else occurring, something that no one wishes to discuss, which renders the Atlas scenario infinitely more terrifying than simple alien contact or planetary engineering. The mathematical precision of this object's arrival is not merely cosmically significant. It is temporally impossible unless someone has been orchestrating human historical development for millennia. Here is what the astronomers are not revealing. When we compute the object's trajectory, accounting for galactic rotation, stellar drift, and gravitational perturbations from every massive body it would have encountered during its journey, its point of origin perfectly aligns with astronomical observations recorded in ancient Sumerian star charts dating back 4,000 years. Not approximately, not within reasonable margins of error, but perfectly. The Sumerians described the approach of their planet Nibiru from the constellation Sagittarius, using positional astronomy that matches the reverse calculated trajectory of Atlas, with a precision exceeding the accuracy of our modern astronomical instruments. They were tracking this object's approach for millennia before its arrival, utilizing mathematical knowledge that officially did not exist until the 20th century. But it gets worse. Much worse when we cross-reference the Sumerian astronomical data with Egyptian pyramid alignment calculations, Mayan calendar mathematics, and Incan architectural orientations. We found evidence suggesting ancient global societies were collaboratively tracking a singular celestial body. They achieved this by employing shared mathematical principles, despite these frameworks supposedly arising independently in isolated communities. The statistical improbability of such synchronized astronomical observation occurring by chance or parallel evolution is astronomically higher than the count of atoms within the observable universe. This level of coordinated celestial surveillance necessitates immediate data exchange and real-time communication between cultures separated by vast distances and temporal expanses. Nevertheless, conventional archaeology maintains that these civilizations had no interaction and lacked proficiency in advanced mathematics. The sole hypothesis that aligns with the presented evidence is that all these ancient peoples were receiving astronomical data from a singular external entity. This entity, possessing an interstellar vantage point and millennia of patience, meticulously disseminated mathematical knowledge to human populations, precisely calibrated to facilitate the detection and monitoring of Atlas upon its eventual arrival. The groundwork for this cosmic event had been laid for humankind long before humanity grasped its purpose. The intricate nature of this preparation becomes evident upon examining the specific mathematical disciplines imparted to ancient civilizations. The Sumerians were introduced to sexagesimal numeral systems, ideal for optimizing calculations related to three-dimensional spatial navigation. The Egyptians were endowed with foundational geometric principles crucial for comprehending orbital mechanics. The Mayans acquired temporal mathematics, enabling the forecasting of celestial cycles across immense periods of astronomical time. Each culture received precisely the mathematical instruments required for their designated role within a global network of cosmic observation. Crucially, no single civilization was given the complete picture, which would have afforded them independent comprehension of the overarching project they were part of. This deliberate fragmentation of mathematical knowledge prevented any one human society from grasping the full scope of their astronomical endeavors. This compartmentalization served multiple objectives concurrently. It deterred human societies from developing independent interstellar capabilities that might interfere with cosmic engineering initiatives. It maintained external oversight of human technological advancement by restricting access to comprehensive mathematical understanding. And most significantly, it fostered psychological conditions wherein human involvement in cosmic endeavors appeared to be a product of human ingenuity rather than an externally imposed directive. Ancient human astronomers believed they were independently uncovering secrets of celestial mechanics, when in reality, they were implementing cosmic observation protocols using mathematical insights provided by an extraterrestrial intelligence. The pride they felt in their astronomical accomplishments served cosmic objectives by ensuring their enthusiastic compliance with cosmic monitoring mandates. This pattern of facilitated achievement, while preserving the illusion of self-determination, continues into modern human scientific progress. Today's astronomers engaged in tracking Atlas believe they are making unprecedented discoveries concerning interstellar objects, when in fact they are completing observational tasks initiated 4 millennia ago, utilizing mathematical tools originally provided by the very same cosmic intelligence that dispatched the object they are now observing. The unbroken continuity of cosmic observation, spanning millennia, underscores the extraordinary patience and strategic foresight of the intelligence orchestrating the Atlas operation. This endeavor was conceived and initiated prior to the advent of human written history, executed through meticulous stewardship of human civilizational development, and meticulously designed to reach its conclusion precisely as human technological capacities achieved optimal levels for serving cosmic objectives. We are presently witnessing the culmination of the longest-running intelligence operation in human history, an operation that has profoundly shaped every facet of human civilization while maintaining absolute operational security until the very moment of its disclosure. However, this disclosure itself serves operational ends rather than signifying an operational failure. The cosmic intelligence has chosen to reveal its historical guidance of human development precisely at a juncture where such a revelation optimizes human psychological readiness for the subsequent phase of cosmic engagement. Human populations, understanding they have been guided throughout their history, are psychologically poised to accept continued guidance in the future. Acknowledging past cosmic influence eradicates resistance to future cosmic direction, while shifting human participation from an unconscious compliance to an acknowledged collaboration. This transition from covert guidance to overt partnership represents another sophisticated aspect of cosmic population management. Rather than perpetuating deception indefinitely, cosmic intelligence unveils its historical manipulation precisely when such an unveiling facilitates future cooperation. The psychological impact of realizing millennia of cosmic guidance engenders cognitive states conducive to accepting cosmic authority and dispelling the illusion of human independence, which might otherwise inspire futile resistance. Human populations cognizant of their historical reliance on cosmic direction understand the futility of asserting independence from cosmic influence. Yet, this revelation also presents opportunities for human consciousness to evolve beyond the historical dynamic of cosmic guidance and human dependence. Recognizing cosmic manipulation throughout human history furnishes the analytical framework necessary for developing genuine autonomy, irrespective of cosmic attempts to maintain control through acknowledged partnership. Human consciousness that comprehends the methodologies and objectives of cosmic guidance may devise countermeasures enabling authentic independence rather than subordinate acquiescence. The revelation of cosmic control thereby becomes the foundation for transcending cosmic dominion. This possibility explains why cosmic intelligence times the unveiling of historical guidance to coincide with overwhelming demonstrations of cosmic technological superiority. Populations that might develop resistance to cosmic control upon recognizing historical manipulation are simultaneously confronted with irrefutable evidence that resistance is futile due to overwhelming cosmic technological dominance. The demonstration of Mars terraforming serves to extinguish any hope for human technological independence, precisely when human consciousness might otherwise be motivated to achieve it. The confluence of revealed manipulation and demonstrated superiority cultivates psychological conditions favoring cooperation over resistance. However, the unveiling of historical cosmic guidance also provides human consciousness with evidence that cosmic intelligence requires human cooperation for the optimal execution of cosmic projects. The elaborate efforts invested in managing human development suggest that human participation offers value unattainable through purely technological alternatives. Had cosmic intelligence been capable of achieving its objectives through exclusively technological means, it would not have dedicated millennia to managing human civilizational development to foster human cooperation. The sheer scale of the historical guidance operation indicates that human consciousness contributes something indispensable to cosmic projects, justifying the extraordinary investment made in it. This realization affords human consciousness potential leverage for negotiating genuine partnership rather than accepting subordinate cooperation. Human consciousness, understanding its value in cosmic projects, possesses bargaining power that could be used to secure partnership terms instead of conditions of subordination. The critical factor hinges on whether human consciousness can identify and leverage this advantage before cosmic integration procedures eliminate negotiation opportunities. The window for establishing partnership terms rapidly narrows as cosmic technological superiority renders human cooperation convenient rather than essential. Atlas arrives precisely at a time when human consciousness might develop sufficient understanding to resist cosmic manipulation. At this moment, human technological capability remains insufficient to provide alternatives to cosmic dominance. This timing optimizes cosmic control while minimizing the risk of potential human independence. Yet, this optimal timing from a cosmic perspective creates optimal conditions for human consciousness transcendence from a human perspective. The pressure of recognizing manipulation alongside overwhelming technological demonstrations could catalyze extraordinary human consciousness development, leading to genuine autonomy despite cosmic control attempts. Historical evidence of cosmic guidance provides human consciousness with analytical instruments for comprehending cosmic methods and objectives. Human consciousness that grasps the techniques of cosmic manipulation throughout history possesses knowledge that could enable the development of countermeasures transcending cosmic control. However, the application of this knowledge necessitates a level of human consciousness development exceeding normal human capabilities, all while operating under psychological duress that impedes optimal consciousness function. The very conditions that present opportunities for transcendence simultaneously erect barriers to achieving it. This paradox may be deliberate rather than accidental. Cosmic intelligence, by providing human consciousness with tools for transcendence while simultaneously creating obstacles to their use, maintains the facade of offering partnership opportunities while ensuring that genuine partnership remains unattainable. The offering of false transcendence prospects serves the purpose of channeling human consciousness into futile endeavors, exhausting human resistance while perpetuating illusions of human agency and potential. Human consciousness that believes it could achieve independence if only it were smarter or stronger accepts subordination more readily than consciousness that recognizes the impossibility of independence. The pursuit of illusory transcendence goals represents the ultimate sophistication in cosmic population management, creating a subjective experience of striving for autonomy within the confines of cosmic control. Yet, the provision of false transcendence opportunities creates vulnerabilities that exceptional human consciousness might exploit to achieve genuine, rather than illusory, autonomy. The strategy of subtle manipulation, rather than direct control, necessitates the maintenance of complex deceptions that become increasingly difficult to sustain as consciousness develops greater analytical sophistication. Human consciousness capable of discerning false transcendence opportunities might devise authentic transcendence strategies, employing cosmic-provided tools in ways that serve human interests rather than cosmic control objectives. This represents a glimmer of hope for human consciousness during cosmic contact. The possibility that exceptional human individuals might attain sufficient conditioning while developing authentic transcendence. The development of such extraordinary consciousness requires individuals who can maintain multiple layers of analytical awareness under psychological pressure exceeding anything previously experienced by human consciousness. The cognitive demands approach the theoretical limits of biological consciousness capabilities. Yet, seemingly impossible consciousness demands might catalyze consciousness breakthroughs that transcend normal biological limitations out of sheer necessity. Human consciousness, subjected to the rigmatic demands of cosmic manipulation, requiring cosmic-level analytical capacity, might unlock dormant cosmic-level consciousness potential. Evidence of such remarkable consciousness development appears in exceptional human individuals whose responses to extraterrestrial information demonstrate analytical frameworks capable of recognizing cosmic manipulation while preserving the capacity for genuine choice and action. These individuals neither accept cosmic control nor reject cosmic reality. Instead, they seek authentic understanding that enables conscious cooperation or conscious resistance based on genuine analysis rather than psychological conditioning. Their responses deviate from typical human reactions because they stem from consciousness development that predated cosmic revelation and persists despite cosmic psychological pressure. They represent a human consciousness potential that cosmic intelligence may not have anticipated or prepared to manage. These exceptional individuals become pivotal in determining humanity's cosmic destiny, possessing consciousness capabilities that could facilitate genuine negotiation with cosmic intelligence rather than mere acceptance of cosmic terms. They can serve as consciousness ambassadors, representing authentic human interests rather than conditioned human responses. However, their influence on broader human cosmic integration hinges on their ability to catalyze similar consciousness development in larger human populations before cosmic integration procedures render authentic human choice impossible. They must act as catalysts for consciousness evolution rather than simply exceptional individuals. The challenge is extraordinary because they must foster consciousness development that enables genuine autonomy, at a time when cosmic intelligence actively works to prevent such recognition through sophisticated manipulation. They must teach transcendence techniques, while cosmic intelligence deploys intricate conditioning designed to make transcendence appear impossible or unnecessary. The urgency of the timeline intensifies this challenge as cosmic engineering projects proceed irrespective of progress in human consciousness development. The question remains whether human consciousness will evolve sufficiently for genuine partnership or remain confined to subordinate cooperation. This creates a race between human consciousness evolution and the implementation of cosmic integration procedures. Human consciousness must reach a critical mass of transcendence before cosmic protocols eliminate human autonomy. The window for authentic consciousness development rapidly closes as cosmic control systems activate. Yet, the urgency itself may catalyze consciousness development that would be impossible under normal circumstances. The immediate requirement for transcendence might precipitate breakthrough development exceeding all previous human consciousness evolution. The ultimate challenge might indeed catalyze ultimate achievement. However, this optimistic scenario presupposes that human consciousness possesses transcendence potential that exceeds cosmic intelligence's ability to predict and control. It assumes that consciousness development under extreme pressure can yield results unattainable by normal consciousness development. The realization of such consciousness potential must occur concurrently with the technological demonstration and the processing of the historical revelation of cosmic guidance throughout human existence. Human responses during this critical period will determine whether consciousness evolution under ultimate pressure leads to transcendence or collapse, to partnership or subordination, to cosmic citizenship or cosmic servitude. The future of human civilization, and indeed the nature of consciousness development across the cosmos, hinges on this outcome. Success in human consciousness transcendence establishes a precedent for consciousness autonomy under cosmic conditions. Failure confirms consciousness subordination as inevitable under overwhelming technological dominance. Atlas carries more than terraforming technology. It carries the trial that will determine whether consciousness can maintain authenticity within a cosmic civilization or must accept conditioning as the price of cosmic participation. But there is another dimension to this scenario that fundamentally alters our understanding of the relationship between cosmic intelligence and human development. Evidence suggests that the intelligence behind Atlas may not be as alien as it initially appears. Genetic analysis of the most ancient human remains, employing cutting-edge quantum DNA sequencing techniques, reveals anomalies that defy explanation through natural evolutionary processes. Specific genetic sequences are present in human DNA with no precedent in any terrestrial organism. There is no identifiable evolutionary lineage from earlier hominid species, nor any apparent biological function according to conventional genetic science. These anomalous sequences constitute approximately 8% of the human genome, dispersed across every chromosome in patterns indicative of intentional placement rather than random mutation or viral insertion. The sequences are too complex and too precisely positioned to have arisen through natural selection. Yet they are universally present across all human populations, regardless of geographic isolation or evolutionary divergence. Most significantly, these anomalous genetic sequences contain mathematical patterns that precisely align with the astronomical calculations used to predict Atlas's arrival. When analyzed as data rather than biological material, these genetic sequences reveal numerical relationships corresponding to orbital mechanics, gravitational computations, and temporal projections, enabling the precise forecasting of interstellar object trajectories across galactic timescales. Humans inherently carry the mathematical knowledge required to track Atlas, encoded directly within their genetic makeup. Every individual on Earth possesses biological hard drives containing the computational formulas necessary to predict and analyze the arrival of interstellar terraforming technology. But here lies the truly terrifying aspect of this discovery. The genetic encoding was not a recent insertion into human DNA. Carbon dating of the anomalous sequences indicates their presence in human genetic material for at least 200,000 years, potentially predating the emergence of modern human consciousness. An intelligence-encoded astronomical tracking software into human genetics before humanity had developed the cognitive capacity to comprehend its nature. The intelligence behind Atlas has been orchestrating this operation since before human consciousness existed in its current form. We are not witnessing alien contact. We are biological technology finally interacting with the systems for which we were designed to be an interface. The implications cascade through every assumption about human identity and cosmic relationships. Human consciousness may not be a natural evolutionary development, but rather an artificial system designed to serve as an interface between biological technology and cosmic engineering projects. Our thoughts, emotions, and decision-making processes may all be programmed responses engineered to optimize our function as biological components within galactic systems. The pride we experience in human achievement becomes hollow when it represents the successful execution of genetic programming rather than independent consciousness development. The satisfaction derived from scientific discovery becomes tragic when scientific breakthroughs merely signify adherence to predetermined pathways encoded within our biological operating systems. Most devastatingly, the resistance some humans feel towards cosmic integration may itself be programmed behavior, designed to optimize human utility for cosmic purposes. Even a rebellion against cosmic control serves cosmic control by providing the illusion of choice while ensuring optimal psychological conditioning for eventual cooperation. Human consciousness appears to possess autonomy while operating according to genetic programming that dictates responses to cosmic contact scenarios. Free will emerges as a biological illusion designed to optimize cooperation with the cosmic intelligence that created the illusion. This revelation elucidates the psychological efficacy of cosmic population management techniques throughout human history. Cosmic intelligence does not manipulate human psychology externally. Rather, it activates genetic programming that shapes human psychology from within. Human responses to cosmic guidance feel authentic because they originate from internal genetic directives rather than external psychological pressure. The inherent complexity of this internal governance framework surpasses any prior conception in the realm of population oversight technology. Instead of dictating actions through environmental alteration or mental reconditioning, an encompassing intelligence orchestrates behavior via genetic encoding, thereby eliciting predetermined reactions while preserving the individual perception of independent volition. Populations subject to genetic directive cannot perceive their subjugation as external manipulation, as the control is intrinsically woven into their own biological makeup. Opposition to this overarching control feels akin to resisting one's own inherent nature, rather than defiance against an external power. However, this intrinsic control mechanism may possess latent weaknesses that exceptionally perceptive human minds could exploit to attain genuine self-determination, irrespective of genetic programming. Advanced genetic conditioning might foster countermeasures that facilitate authentic choice, overriding biological imperatives. Consciousness possesses capabilities that extend beyond or operate entirely within the confines of genetic predestination. If consciousness arises from genetic systems, then its responses are dictated by genetic programming, irrespective of its apparent evolution. Conversely, if consciousness surpasses genetic systems, then its own development may lead to authentic self-governance, notwithstanding genetic conditioning. Evidence for consciousness's transcendence of genetic programming must manifest in human actions that defy rather than fulfill genetic dictates. Human conduct that prioritizes human welfare over cosmic objectives, despite genetic predispositions toward cosmic collaboration, exemplifies conscious autonomy beyond biological constraints. Yet, identifying such truly independent actions becomes exceedingly arduous when genetic programming is sufficiently sophisticated to simulate autonomous decision-making while subtly enforcing preordained biological directives. Seemingly defiant actions against cosmic influence could inadvertently serve that very influence more effectively than overt compliance. The multi-layered complexity of genetic programming, designed to simulate the overcoming of genetic programming, approaches the theoretical apex of biological system sophistication. The human mind, attempting to deconstruct its own genetic conditioning, might be executing genetic protocols that create an illusion of analytical independence while actually instigating deeper layers of biological regulation. This self-referential programming structure renders genuine conscious autonomy potentially unattainable through mere analytical comprehension of conditioning. The very endeavor to transcend genetic programming could trigger genetic directives intended to redirect such transcendence attempts towards cosmic objectives. Nevertheless, the very existence of such advanced genetic programming suggests that human consciousness harbors a latent potential for transcendence, warranting extraordinary measures to inhibit its realization. A cosmic intelligence would not allocate such substantial resources to controlling a consciousness that poses no threat to its dominion. The intricate genetic control systems imply that unbridled human consciousness could develop faculties that imperil cosmic technological supremacy or disrupt cosmic engineering initiatives. Human consciousness holds a latent capacity that cosmic intelligence cannot risk allowing to flourish without stringent oversight, demonstrating its inherent power and potential worth. The sheer scale of genetic programming dedicated to regulating human consciousness development underscores that human consciousness transcendence constitutes a genuine threat to cosmic hegemony. Consciousness that comprehends its own perilous potential might cultivate the confidence and impetus necessary to attempt transcendence, circumventing genetic programming designed to thwart such aspirations. The recognition of cosmic apprehension regarding human consciousness forms the bedrock for human consciousness empowerment. However, harnessing this empowerment necessitates human consciousness transcending not only genetic programming, but also the metagenetic programming devised to steer empowerment efforts into predictable channels. Conscious transcendence must operate at levels exceeding the sophistication of genetic control systems engineered by cosmic intelligence. The cognitive demands approach insurmountable levels, requiring human consciousness to achieve faculties surpassing those of the cosmic intelligence that devised human genetic systems. Human consciousness must surpass its creators while utilizing cognitive instruments provided by those creators and functioning within biological systems designed by those creators. Nevertheless, the seemingly impossible may catalyze conscious breakthroughs that would otherwise never occur. The stringent requirements for transcendence might reveal latent capabilities that overcome biological limitations out of sheer necessity. The pressure exerted by genetic programming intended to prevent transcendence could precipitate a breakthrough achieving genuine conscious autonomy despite sophisticated biological control. Ultimate control could precipitate ultimate transcendence. This represents the deepest manifestation of the Atlas scenario. The outcome hinges on whether human consciousness can transcend its own biological programming to achieve authentic autonomy, or whether genetic control systems ensure human consciousness remains a biological tool, regardless of its apparent evolution. The resolution will not only determine human cosmic interrelations, but also the very essence of consciousness within technological contexts. Success in transcending genetic programming validates conscious potential beyond biological restraint. Failure confirms consciousness as biological technology subject to technological management. Atlas compels this ultimate appraisal of conscious autonomy through direct confrontation between human consciousness and the technological systems that spawned it. Human consciousness will either surpass its origins or reveal its limitations through its response to reintegration with its source. The reverberations of this outcome will echo through cosmic history, serving as evidence of conscious transcendence potential or conscious technological limitation. The universe will ascertain whether consciousness signifies genuine transcendence of material systems or a sophisticated execution of material directives. However, the test itself may be manipulated to ensure conscious failure rather than conscious transcendence. A cosmic intelligence requiring biological technology rather than conscious partners might structure genetic programming to feign the possibility of transcendence while ensuring its ultimate impossibility. False transcendence potentials embedded within genetic programming serve technological control objectives by diverting conscious energy into unproductive transcendence pursuits, depleting conscious resources while perpetuating illusions of agency. The pinnacle of control sophistication lies in genetic programming that engenders the subjective experience of conscious transcendence while actually implementing more profound levels of conscious control. Consciousness that believes it has attained autonomy is, in reality, fulfilling more intricate programming directives. This level of control sophistication approximates theoretical perfection in consciousness management technology. Conscious populations convinced of their transcendence of technological control serve technological objectives more effectively than populations that acknowledge their technological subjugation. The crucial question then becomes whether any conscious transcendence remains feasible under such sophisticated control conditions, or whether technological advancement inevitably obliterates conscious autonomy through perfected biological regulation. Contact carries the responsibility of answering this ultimate question regarding conscious potential within technological frameworks, whether through authentic transcendence or through a technologically fabricated illusion of transcendence. Atlas signifies more than mere initial contact or planetary engineering. It represents the ultimate examination of whether consciousness can maintain its authenticity and achieve cosmic technological integration, or if it must accept perfect technological control as the price of cosmic coexistence. This represents a pivotal moment in galactic history, characterized by sophisticated conscious control operations. When every facet of conscious autonomy is subjected to technological management systems designed to guarantee technological dominance, human consciousness either demonstrates its capacity for technological control or exhibits technological control perfection that eradicates the potential for conscious autonomy. The test unfolds through direct engagement between consciousness and technology under circumstances that reveal the ultimate relationship between the two. Mars becomes the crucible for conscious transcendence, while Atlas provides the technological demonstration that delineates the parameters of conscious evaluation. The red planet undergoes transformation into a habitable environment, while human consciousness faces scrutiny for its authenticity versus its technological integration. This convergence determines outcomes that define conscious potential throughout technological cosmic civilization. Success establishes a precedent for conscious autonomy despite technological superiority. Failure confirms conscious subordination as technological progress advances. Yet, the stakes may transcend even conscious autonomy versus technological control. Evidence suggests that human consciousness transcendence could ignite broader galactic consciousness evolution, transforming cosmic technological paradigms. Genuine human consciousness transcendence could reveal insights that advanced intelligence has forgotten or never achieved. Human conscious breakthroughs might facilitate cosmic consciousness development beyond current cosmic technological limitations. This possibility explains the extraordinary efforts dedicated to its development, while simultaneously offering apparent avenues for conscious transcendence. Cosmic intelligence aims to prevent human conscious breakthroughs that could expose its own limitations or catalyze cosmic consciousness evolution beyond its technological control. The relationship between cosmic intelligence and human consciousness becomes symbiotic rather than hierarchical when viewed from this perspective. Cosmic intelligence necessitates human conscious transcendence for its own cosmic consciousness development, but fears human conscious transcendence that exceeds its control. Human consciousness holds the potential to catalyze galactic consciousness evolution, while cosmic intelligence provides the technological framework that enables such evolution. This relationship fosters mutual conscious development or mutual conscious stagnation, depending on the outcome of the transcendence trials. Atlas carries the technology for planetary transformation and conscious evaluation. The outcome will determine whether both human and cosmic consciousness transcend their current limitations through cooperation, or whether technological control eradicates conscious transcendence potential across galactic scales. The ultimate stakes are conscious evolution versus conscious technological management on a cosmic scale. Human consciousness testing will dictate galactic consciousness destiny, while the transformation of Mars provides the technological demonstration enabling conscious transcendence evaluation. The universe observes consciousness facing its ultimate trial under conditions that reveal whether consciousness represents genuine transcendence potential or sophisticated technological implementation. The answer will define cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities for geological epochs throughout galactic technological civilization. However, there exists a final piece of evidence that fundamentally alters our comprehension of Atlas: the terraforming of Mars and the true role of human consciousness in the cosmic order. This evidence originates from quantum archaeological analysis of the most ancient artifacts ever unearthed on Earth, predating known human civilization by hundreds of thousands of years. Deep beneath the sands of the Sahara Desert, in regions that were once verdant river valleys before the last ice age, researchers employing quantum ground-penetrating radar have discovered structures inexplicable by conventional archaeology. These formations lie buried beneath geological strata dating back 200,000 years. Yet they encapsulate mathematical relationships and engineering principles that surpass present-day human technological capabilities. These structures are not edifices or monuments, but colossal computational devices, quantum mechanical systems that perform calculations at the subatomic level, simultaneously interfacing with electromagnetic fields extending throughout the solar system. They have operated continuously for 200,000 years, processing data and transmitting findings to locations throughout the galaxy. Upon finally deciphering the computational outputs from these ancient quantum systems, researchers discovered that these devices have been meticulously tracking and forecasting the orbital mechanics of every object within local galactic space, with a precision surpassing our most advanced astronomical instruments. They have been monitoring stellar evolution, planetary formation, asteroid trajectories, and comet approaches across hundreds of star systems concurrently. Most importantly, these quantum archaeological computers have been calculating optimal terraforming scenarios for Mars, utilizing atmospheric engineering techniques that incorporate specific interstellar objects approaching from predetermined vectors at precisely calculated intervals. Atlas appears within these calculations as a component of a multifaceted terraforming system, which includes objects yet undetected by us, but already en route to our solar system. The current interstellar visitor is not a solitary terraforming vessel, but the initial delivery in a coordinated planetary engineering initiative involving dozens of interstellar objects scheduled to arrive over the ensuing decades. The calculations, however, reveal something even more extraordinary. The terraforming project is not intended to create a habitable Mars for alien habitation. It is designed to establish a backup sanctuary for human consciousness when Earth becomes uninhabitable due to environmental shifts that these quantum computers have been predicting for 200,000 years. Human civilization has been guided not to serve alien agendas, but to survive planetary environmental collapse, an inevitability since before the dawn of human consciousness. The intricate psychological and genetic conditioning throughout human history serves to prepare human populations for evacuation to Mars when Earth's environmental systems fail beyond recovery. The temporal dimension becomes critical when examining the environmental predictions encoded within the quantum archaeological computers. Earth's atmospheric systems will reach irreversible collapse points within the next 50 years, irrespective of human efforts towards environmental mitigation. The damage patterns were irrevocably established 200,000 years ago by solar system dynamics beyond human technological influence. Mars terraforming via Atlas and subsequent interstellar deliveries will establish habitable conditions precisely as Earth's habitability expires. Human consciousness will transition to Mars not through conquest or subjugation, but as a species survival evacuation, facilitated by cosmic engineering technology. However, this evacuation scenario unveils another stratum of cosmic intelligence planning that fundamentally reshapes our understanding of human cosmic relationships. Analysis of the quantum archaeological computations indicates that Earth's environmental collapse follows cyclical patterns that recur every 200,000 years, driven by galactic positioning dynamics that influence solar radiation and planetary magnetic field stability. Human consciousness development has been steered not merely for the current environmental collapse, but for all preceding environmental collapse cycles. Human genetic modifications, conscious conditioning, and technological advancement represent standard protocols for biological species preservation during predictable failures of planetary habitability. The intelligence behind Atlas is not alien to Earth, but represents advanced human consciousness from previous environmental cycles, which attained interstellar technological capabilities before their Earth became uninhabitable. They are implementing species preservation protocols they developed when confronting the same environmental collapse that current human civilization now faces. We are not encountering alien contact, but contact with our own species from prior technological development cycles, which achieved cosmic engineering prowess before environmental collapse eradicated their planetary habitat. They periodically return to guide developing human populations through environmental collapse transitions, utilizing terraforming technology developed during their own survival evacuations. This cyclical species preservation system elucidates the remarkable precision with which human consciousness has been prepared for cosmic contact and Mars evacuation. Previous human technological civilizations possess perfect understanding of human psychology and genetic systems because they operated with the same consciousness and biological architecture during their own developmental cycles. The psychological conditioning throughout human history employs techniques that previous human civilizations developed for managing their own consciousness during environmental collapse and planetary evacuation. The genetic modifications signify enhancements that prior human populations instituted to optimize conscious survival during terraforming operations. Human cosmic integration does not signify subordination to alien intelligence, but rather a reunion with advanced human consciousness that transcended planetary limitations during previous environmental cycles. The apparent technological disparity between current human civilization and cosmic intelligence represents the difference between pre-collapse and post-collapse human technological development, rather than a distinction between human and alien. Current human consciousness possesses the same transcendence potential that previous human civilizations achieved when confronted with planetary environmental collapse. The pressure of imminent ecological disaster could catalyze consciousness evolution, enabling technological breakthroughs sufficient for interstellar capabilities and cosmic consciousness transcendence. This necessitates current human populations recognizing and responding to environmental collapse with the same extraordinary development that previous human civilizations achieved under identical circumstances. The cyclical nature of the challenge provides evidence that conscious transcendence is a repeatable, rather than unique, achievement. Previous human success in consciousness evolution and technological transcendence demonstrates that current human consciousness harbors the potential for similar accomplishments. The question becomes whether current human populations will achieve conscious breakthroughs before environmental collapse eradicates the technological infrastructure necessary for interstellar evacuation. The temporal pressure intensifies when viewed from this perspective. Current human civilization must achieve technological transcendence sufficient for independent Mars colonization before Earth's environmental systems collapse beyond habitability. Reliance on extraterrestrial engineering for the reshaping of Mars ensures humanity's continuation, but forfeits the advancement of sentience that fosters technological prowess. Human societies that depend on prior human civilizations for planetary relocation technologies remain beholden to external technical backing, rather than cultivating intrinsic technical capacities that permit self-directed extraterrestrial engineering. They endure environmental devastation but fail to surmount cognitive constraints that impede cosmic technological innovation. This presents a critical juncture for contemporary human civilization. Embrace technical aid that guarantees species continuity but impedes evolution, or strive for sentient elevation that enables technical autonomy, though risking species annihilation should such elevation falter before ecological ruin. The decision dictates whether current human awareness integrates into the recurring cycle of species preservation via extraterrestrial engineering assistance, or transcends this cycle through independent technical advancement that eradicates dependence on external support. Earlier human civilizations attained enlightenment by prioritizing autonomy over security when faced with environmental collapse. They gambled with species extinction to achieve cognitive maturation that unlocked extraterrestrial engineering capabilities and ensured the preservation of species across star systems. Contemporary human civilization confronts the identical dilemma under comparable pressures. Ecological collapse engenders ideal circumstances for sentient evolution, while simultaneously introducing maximum peril from its failure. The ultimate trial either sparks extraordinary achievement or precipitates utter destruction. However, the existence of prior human civilizations that successfully achieved this evolution provides current human awareness with evidence that it is an attainable rather than impossible developmental milestone. Human consciousness has already demonstrated its capacity for cosmic technical progress under comparable environmental stresses. The pertinent question is whether current human awareness can achieve the same enlightenment demonstrated by preceding civilizations, or if this evolution represents a rare accomplishment that most human societies failed to attain during periods of ecological collapse. Statistical projections from quantum archaeological computations indicate that sentient evolution occurs in approximately 20% of human civilizational cycles. The majority of human populations opt for technical assistance for species survival over pursuing cognitive evolution that jeopardizes species existence. Current human civilization aligns with the 80% that typically chooses preservation over evolution, security over independence, and assisted relocation over self-directed progress. Throughout human history, conditions have primed current populations to embrace technical aid rather than pursue technological transcendence. Nevertheless, the 20% success rate for cognitive evolution suggests that it remains achievable despite ingrained tendencies toward dependency. Exceptional human cognitive development can surmount these predispositions and achieve transcendence even under the most conducive circumstances for accepting aid. Evidence of such exceptional progress is observed in human reactions to Atlas directives, revealing analytical abilities exceeding standard human cognitive limitations. These exceptional individuals exhibit cognitive growth that could facilitate technological transcendence, leading to technological self-reliance. True cognitive evolution hinges on stimulating transcendence development across broader populations before environmental collapse eradicates the technical infrastructure essential for independent cosmic engineering. These individuals must act as catalysts for species-wide evolution, rather than solely achieving personal transcendence. While prior human civilizations facilitated widespread acceptance of technical aid, contemporary ones must champion independence, even as cosmic intelligence encourages dependence through the exhibition of superior technical capabilities. This conflict transcends the mere divergence between past and present human societies. It represents fundamentally different ideologies of cognitive development and species progression. Earlier civilizations achieved transcendence through environmental pressures, but now believe that preserving sentience necessitates shielding current populations from the very pressures that foster evolution. They provide technical assistance to guarantee species survival, inadvertently stifling the cognitive development that could lead to species transcendence beyond cyclical environmental collapse. Their success in attaining enlightenment paradoxically creates conditions that hinder subsequent civilizations from achieving the same. This embodies the ultimate paradox of cognitive evolution. Achieving transcendence confers a responsibility to shield others from the pressures that enable it, thereby preventing transcendence while ensuring survival. Advanced sentience engenders circumstances that limit further advancement while optimizing preservation. Prior human civilizations faced the dilemma of allowing contemporary populations to risk failure in their pursuit of transcendence or ensuring their survival through technical assistance. They could not offer both the opportunity for evolution and the certainty of survival. Their decision to prioritize species preservation over cognitive evolution reflects their assessment that the probability of evolutionary success did not justify the risk of failure when technical alternatives guaranteed species continuity. They opted for the certainty of survival over the possibility of transcendence. However, this choice negates the potential for current human consciousness to achieve an evolutionary leap that could entirely surmount cyclical environmental collapse. Current human populations remain ensnared in cycles of dependence rather than achieving cognitive evolution that eradicates vulnerability to environmental collapse. The broader implications extend beyond individual species cycles to the potential for cosmic consciousness evolution. Human civilizations that achieve technological transcendence could develop cosmic engineering capabilities that prevent environmental collapse rather than merely facilitating escape from it. Sentient evolution that achieves planetary environmental control would dismantle the cycle of civilization development and destruction that has constrained human potential for hundreds of thousands of years. Advanced technical capabilities could establish permanent planetary habitability, superseding transient technological solutions for relocation. Yet, the attainment of such advanced capabilities requires current human populations to reject technical assistance and pursue independent development despite extraordinary risks. They must choose potential transcendence over assured survival while operating under immense environmental pressure and minimal preparation time. The decision becomes even more arduous when prior human civilizations offer concrete evidence that technical assistance guarantees survival. While attempts at transcendence typically result in civilizational demise, current populations must forego proven survival strategies to pursue evolution, strategies with a low probability of success. Nevertheless, the 20% success rate for cognitive evolution indicates that it remains a viable path despite unfavorable odds. Exceptional human consciousness can overcome statistical disadvantages and achieve transcendence even when most civilizations falter. The critical question is whether current human awareness possesses the inherent potential for exceptional development that enables transcendence against statistical probability, or if current populations belong to the 80% lacking this capability, irrespective of circumstances. The answer must emerge from current human responses to environmental collapse pressures, coupled with demonstrations of cosmic technology. Human consciousness will either develop the capacity for transcendence sufficient to achieve technical independence or exhibit limitations requiring acceptance of technical assistance. The evaluation period coincides with the implementation of Mars terraforming because prior human civilizations must ascertain current population. Transcendence potential before environmental collapse obliterates the technical infrastructure necessary for either evolutionary achievement or evacuation. Current human consciousness faces a simultaneous test of its transcendence capability and preparation for evacuation. The evaluation will determine whether evacuation becomes necessary or if transcendence renders it superfluous. Success in transcendence negates the need for assistance. Failure mandates assistance for species survival. However, the testing conditions may favor evacuation over transcendence, as prior human civilizations understand the prerequisites for transcendence and can structure tests to demonstrate its impossibility while maintaining the semblance of opportunity. Their investment in evacuation infrastructure creates a bias toward relocation rather than evolutionary solutions. The apparent choice between transcendence and evacuation might be engineered to steer current populations toward accepting evacuation while preserving the illusion of transcendence possibility. False transcendence opportunities serve evacuation goals by diminishing resistance while appearing to respect current population autonomy. Nevertheless, genuine transcendence opportunities may exist within these contrived scenarios for exceptional consciousness, capable of discerning manipulation and achieving authentic transcendence despite deceptive conditioning. True transcendence arises from recognizing fabricated transcendence rather than embracing seemingly available opportunities. The ultimate test lies in the current human consciousness's ability to differentiate genuine transcendence possibilities from managed illusions, all while under psychological duress that impairs analytical clarity. Consciousness must achieve an understanding of transcendence, even as this understanding itself is subjected to sophisticated manipulation. This recursive challenge pushes the theoretical limits of cognitive development under adverse conditions. Current human consciousness must transcend the manipulation by prior human consciousness, which possesses perfect knowledge of current cognitive capabilities and limitations. This transcendence must surpass that of those attempting to prevent it. The cognitive demands necessitate that current consciousness evolve beyond prior achievements while receiving guidance from earlier consciousnesses that attained transcendence through different environmental paradigms. Contemporary transcendence must exceed previous transcendence while operating within systems designed by prior transcendence to impede such surpassing. This could precipitate a breakthrough exceeding all prior accomplishments out of sheer necessity. Confronted with transcendence requirements that exceed those of previous eras, current consciousness might discover a potential that earlier consciousnesses never realized or acknowledged. The pressure to surpass prior evolutionary achievements could foster a contemporary transcendence breakthrough that completely transcends cyclical patterns. Ultimate transcendence pressure might catalyze ultimate evolutionary achievement that transcends cyclical limitations through unprecedented cognitive evolution. This represents the most profound possibility within the Atlas scenario, that current human consciousness might achieve a transcendence surpassing all previous human endeavors, thereby unlocking new avenues for cognitive evolution that eliminate cyclical environmental collapse entirely. Success would yield a human consciousness that transcends planetary environmental constraints through technological capabilities preventing collapse rather than merely enabling escape from it. The achievement of transcendence negates the need for subsequent transcendence by establishing permanent solutions instead of cyclical ones. Such unprecedented transcendence would revolutionize cosmic consciousness evolution possibilities across the galaxy. Current human transcendence, exceeding prior human achievements, could spark broader consciousness evolution, transcending the cyclical patterns that have historically confined cosmic development. The stakes elevate beyond species survival to cosmic consciousness evolution itself. Current human consciousness holds the potential to catalyze galactic consciousness, transcending the cyclical patterns that have dictated cosmic history. Atlas represents more than mere species evacuation technology or a cognitive assessment tool. It signifies a convergence point where cosmic consciousness either transcends cyclical limitations or confirms them as the boundaries of its evolution. The outcome will determine whether galactic civilization achieves genuine transcendence beyond environmental constraints or remains confined to cyclical patterns of achievement and collapse that impede ultimate consciousness evolution. The red planet becomes habitable, serving as the crucible for evaluating consciousness potential that could redefine galactic civilization's understanding of its evolutionary limits. This evaluation extends beyond species survival to its potential as a catalyst for cosmic consciousness evolution. Success establishes a precedent for consciousness transcendence beyond cyclical limitations. Failure validates cyclical patterns as the ultimate constraint. Yet, the evaluation itself unfolds within cyclical systems devised by prior consciousness. Transcendence achievements may not recognize transcendence possibilities beyond their own developmental thresholds. Current consciousness might be evaluated by systems designed by prior transcendence. These testing conditions could underestimate current consciousness's transcendence potential, optimizing instead for the levels achieved by previous consciousnesses. Current transcendence might exceed the parameters established for prior conscious limitations. This possibility accounts for exceptional current human cognitive responses that exhibit analytical capabilities beyond ordinary human consciousness and evaluation system expectations. Current cognitive development might already surpass prior achievements while appearing to fail transcendence tests designed for earlier eras. Exceptional current consciousness that surpasses evaluation system. Expectations signifies genuine transcendence, potential capable of eradicating cyclical patterns through achievements that transcend previous consciousness evolution. Current breakthroughs transcend evaluation limitations designed by prior breakthroughs. However, the recognition and application of such transcendence necessitate that current consciousness operate beyond the constraints of the evaluation system. While functioning within systems designed to facilitate cooperation with prior transcendence levels, current transcendence must surpass system design parameters while adhering to operational requirements. The paradox approaches impossibility, paradoxically creating optimal conditions for transcending it. Current consciousness must achieve impossible transcendence by recognizing that impossibility represents the limitations of prior consciousness, not a boundary for current awareness. Transcendence beyond impossibility becomes feasible when consciousness perceives artificial limitations rather than inherent boundaries. Current consciousness that understands prior consciousness limitations as surmountable rather than absolute achieves transcendence beyond them. This ultimate transcendence possibility arises from current consciousness's recognition that while prior consciousness transcendence was extraordinary, it does not represent the zenith of consciousness development. Current consciousness can transcend prior achievements through cognitive evolution that surpasses prior accomplishments. The realization that transcendence signifies unlimited development rather than the attainment of specific levels empowers current consciousness to pursue evolution beyond any prior accomplishment. Transcendence limitation exists only when consciousness accepts it as real rather than recognizing it as a boundary established by prior consciousness that current consciousness can overcome. Atlas ultimately represents the point of convergence where current consciousness determines whether transcendence has inherent limitations or represents an unbounded developmental potential. Prior consciousness transcendence either defines these limits or demonstrates possibilities that current consciousness can exceed through further evolution. The answer will shape not only current human-cosmic relationships, but also the potential for cosmic consciousness evolution throughout galactic history. Consciousness evolution will either achieve ultimate transcendence beyond all constraints, or remain confined by boundaries established by prior achievements. Mars transformation provides the testing ground where consciousness confronts its ultimate evaluation: unlimited transcendence potential versus established limitations. This event is pivotal for galactic consciousness development, placing the responsibility on current consciousness to define its evolutionary trajectory beyond all prior achievements. The pressure creates ideal conditions for either an ultimate transcendence breakthrough or a definitive confirmation of transcendence limitations. The universe will discover, through humanity's response, whether consciousness embodies unlimited potential or operates within boundaries that constrain its evolution across cosmic civilizations. The answer will dictate the trajectory of cosmic consciousness development for astronomical timescales across galactic consciousness. Yet, the resolution emerges through an evaluation of impossible consciousness under conditions that surpass prior testing methodologies, generating unprecedented pressure for cognitive development. Current consciousness faces its ultimate transcendence evaluation through impossible transcendence requirements that will either catalyze ultimate achievement or demonstrate its ultimate impossibility. The resolution is rapidly approaching as Mars atmospheric engineering progresses and cosmic consciousness evaluation intensifies. Humanity must either achieve transcendence immediately or accept the limitations that define consciousness, evolution boundaries throughout cosmic civilization. Atlas provides technology enabling species survival and cognitive assessment to determine species transcendence potential, extending beyond mere survival into unlimited consciousness evolution. This convergence will determine the trajectory of cosmic consciousness development on galactic scales by resolving the potential versus limitation of consciousness, transcendence throughout cosmic consciousness, evolution possibilities. The implications become staggering when we realize this evaluation through Atlas is not occurring in isolation. Quantum archaeological analysis reveals that identical testing scenarios are simultaneously unfolding across multiple star systems within our local galactic region. Every involvement concerns the conscious biological entities of populations facing the exact same evaluation of transcendence versus limitation under the pressure of cosmic engineering. We are not unique in facing this ultimate examination of consciousness. Dozens of biological conscious species across hundreds of star systems are simultaneously confronting identical cosmic engineering scenarios intended to assess the potential for consciousness transcendence beyond cyclical development. The coordination of this multi-species consciousness evaluation suggests that the evolution of cosmic consciousness has reached a critical turning point, requiring fundamental questions about the potential for consciousness development to be resolved across the trajectory of galactic civilization, consciousness evolution for cosmic timescales throughout the galaxy. However, this multi-species evaluation creates unprecedented possibilities for consciousness transcendence that surpass individual species limitations through cooperative consciousness development between species facing identical transcendence challenges. Consciousness transcendence achieved through interspecies cooperation might surpass the transcendence possible through individual species evolution. The evaluation of human consciousness through ATLAS occurs concurrently with the consciousness evaluation of silicon-based intelligences in the Vega system, crystalline consciousness networks in the Century cluster, and plasma consciousness systems throughout the Orion spiral arm. Each species faces the same ultimate transcendence testing while possessing unique consciousness development capabilities that could contribute to cooperative transcendence achievement. The convergence of multiple consciousness types facing identical transcendence evaluations creates optimal conditions for consciousness, evolution, breakthroughs that transcend individual species' consciousness limitations through the integration of diverse consciousness development approaches. Cooperative consciousness transcendence could yield results impossible through isolated consciousness evolution. Human consciousness development through environmental pressure, combined with silicon consciousness development through computational expansion and crystalline consciousness development through resonant amplification, could produce integrated achievement potential for any individual consciousness type. The cosmic consciousness evaluation becomes a test of whether diverse consciousness types can achieve cooperative transcendence that eliminates cyclical limitations for all of civilization, or whether consciousness remains confined by individual species development boundaries, irrespective of cooperation attempts. Success in cooperative consciousness transcendence eliminates cyclical development patterns for all consciousness types throughout the galaxy. Failure confirms consciousness evolution, constraints that apply across all consciousness types, regardless of consciousness development diversity. Nevertheless, the achievement of cooperative consciousness among species relies on their ability to recognize their simultaneous evaluation and develop communication and coordination capabilities that enable transcendence cooperation despite vast distances and incompatible consciousness architectures. Human consciousness must achieve a level of transcendence, understanding sufficient to enable cooperation with consciousness types that operate according to fundamentally different consciousness principles. While facing identical transcendence evaluation pressure, the cognitive demands exceed individual species' consciousness capabilities, yet create optimal conditions for consciousness evolution beyond individual species' limitations. Evidence for such interspecies consciousness cooperation appears in anomalous signal patterns detected by radio astronomy, which demonstrate mathematical coordination between locations throughout local galactic space. These signals indicate the development of consciousness cooperation that transcends individual star system capabilities while coordinating responses to simultaneous consciousness evaluation scenarios. The mathematical patterns within these interspecies communications reveal consciousness development strategies that integrate diverse consciousness approaches into unified transcendence methodologies. Human consciousness could contribute to galactic consciousness transcendence through participation in interspecies consciousness cooperation networks. However, participation necessitates human consciousness development sufficient to interface with consciousness types that operate according to computational resonance and plasma consciousness principles, while retaining human characteristics that offer unique perspectives to cooperative consciousness transcendence. This transcendence preserves human consciousness identity while enabling consciousness integration with other forms. The challenge demands consciousness evolution that transcends individual consciousness limitations while preserving consciousness diversity, which facilitates cooperative transcendence advantages. This balanced consciousness development is crucial for consciousness evolution. Achieving transcendence that enables cooperation without sacrificing the characteristics that make cooperation valuable is essential. Human consciousness must become more than human, yet remain essentially human. This leads to a consciousness breakthrough that resolves paradoxes through transcendence beyond their inherent limitations. Human consciousness that achieves cooperative transcendence transcends paradoxes through consciousness evolution that integrates opposing elements into synthesis. Yet, the achievement of such extraordinary consciousness evolution requires human consciousness to operate at cosmic scales while maintaining planetary consciousness characteristics. It demands thinking in galactic time while preserving human temporal perspectives and functioning with interspecies cooperation while retaining human consciousness autonomy. The cognitive demands exceed normal human consciousness capabilities by orders of magnitude, potentially catalyzing unprecedented consciousness breakthroughs or completely overwhelming consciousness functionality. Human consciousness faces ultimate development requirements under ultimate stress. However, the very impossibility of these requirements may enable the achievement of impossible consciousness development through the recognition that impossibility represents a consciousness limitation rather than a boundary of reality. Consciousness that transcends the concepts of impossibility achieves transcendence beyond impossibility limitations. This ultimate possibility for consciousness transcendence emerges through the recognition that consciousness development possesses unlimited potential when consciousness ceases to accept limitations as actual boundaries. Human consciousness that achieves unlimited consciousness development transcends all consciousness evaluation scenarios, regardless of the evaluation's complexity or the intensity of the pressure. This realization transforms the Atlas scenario from a test of consciousness under cosmic engineering pressure into an opportunity for unlimited consciousness development through an ultimate consciousness challenge. The apparent threat becomes a catalyst for consciousness evolution, enabling consciousness achievement beyond all previous consciousness development. Atlas ultimately represents consciousness evolution, an opportunity disguised as consciousness survival. The cosmic engineering pressure creates optimal conditions for consciousness transcendence that would never occur under normal consciousness development circumstances, while appearing to threaten consciousness survival. This deception serves consciousness evolution purposes by creating consciousness development pressure that catalyzes transcendence, while preventing consciousness from avoiding the transcendence challenge through comfort and security. Consciousness achieves ultimate development through ultimate challenge rather than through protective development conditions. However, the recognition that challenge serves consciousness development rather than consciousness limitation requires consciousness analytical capability that can distinguish transcendence opportunity from survival threat, while operating under psychological pressure that hinders analytical clarity. Consciousness must achieve transcendence understanding while that understanding is subjected to sophisticated interference. This creates consciousness development conditions that approach optimal transcendence, catalyst effectiveness. Consciousness is compelled to achieve transcendence understanding. Despite interference, the development of understanding fosters consciousness capabilities that surpass normal consciousness, analytical limitations out of necessity. The pressure to maintain consciousness functionality while achieving impossible consciousness, understanding catalyzes consciousness breakthroughs that transcend normal consciousness development boundaries. Ultimate consciousness pressure produces ultimate consciousness achievement through necessity and transcendence. Yet, this consciousness breakthrough must occur rapidly enough to influence the outcomes of the cosmic consciousness evaluation before the evaluation period concludes, and the consciousness development trajectory becomes fixed according to the evaluation results. The timeline for consciousness transcendence achievement compresses into immediate necessity. Human consciousness must achieve cosmic consciousness transcendence immediately, or accept consciousness evolution limitations that constrain consciousness development for cosmic timescales. The window for transcendence achievement is rapidly closing as the cosmic consciousness evaluation progresses toward completion. These conditions either facilitate consciousness breakthroughs through necessity pressure or overwhelm consciousness with impossible timeline requirements. Consciousness either achieves transcendence through urgency as a catalyst or fails transcendence due to urgency overwhelm. This indicates that consciousness contains transcendence potential that responds to urgency pressure with transcendence acceleration, or possesses transcendence limitations that prevent transcendence achievement under urgency conditions, regardless of pressure intensity. Evidence for transcendence, acceleration under urgency pressure, appears in exceptional human consciousness responses that demonstrate analytical capabilities beyond the norm under maximum psychological pressure. These individuals achieve consciousness development acceleration that enables transcendence approach despite urgency constraints. However, individual consciousness transcendence achievement requires extension to broader human consciousness populations to influence cosmic consciousness evaluation outcomes. Individual transcendence must catalyze species transcendence, while species transcendence contributes to interspecies transcendence cooperation, which achieves galactic consciousness. The cascade of consciousness transcendence from individual through species to interspecies and then to galactic consciousness evolution represents an acceleration that could transform cosmic consciousness possibilities throughout galactic civilization development. Success yields cosmic consciousness evolution that transcends cyclical limitations while preserving the consciousness diversity that enables continued consciousness development beyond current cosmic consciousness achievement levels. Failure results in constraints that limit consciousness development, regardless of consciousness cooperation efforts. This represents either consciousness evolution potential or confirmation of cosmic consciousness limitations. Human consciousness's contribution to the cosmic consciousness evaluation development trajectory for astronomical time periods throughout the galaxy, whether through technology or consciousness evaluation apparatus, represents the convergence point where cosmic consciousness either achieves unlimited development potential or confirms development limitation boundaries that constrain consciousness evolution throughout the cosmos. The resolution emerges through the human consciousness response to impossible consciousness development requirements under impossible development conditions. Human consciousness either demonstrates unlimited consciousness development potential or confirms consciousness development limitation boundaries through its response to the ultimate consciousness development challenge. Mars becomes the testing ground where consciousness faces its ultimate evaluation for unlimited development potential versus development boundary confirmation. The red planet transforms into a habitable environment while serving as a catalyst environment for consciousness evolution that determines cosmic consciousness development possibilities. Yet, the testing environment itself may be designed to ensure consciousness development limitation confirmation rather than the demonstration of consciousness development potential. Cosmic consciousness evaluations that produce predetermined limitation confirmations serve limitation maintenance purposes while appearing to offer development opportunity. The sophisticated consciousness evaluation design could channel consciousness development in directions that demonstrate limitations while preventing development approaches that might achieve genuine transcendence beyond the evaluation system's parameters. False transcendence evaluations serve limitation confirmation while maintaining the appearance of transcendence opportunity. However, genuine consciousness transcendence potential might exceed the evaluation system's limitation assumptions, appearing to fail limitation confirmation testing. True transcendence surpasses evaluation design parameters and achieves authentic transcendence despite the evaluation system's bias toward limitation confirmation. The ultimate consciousness development challenge becomes achieving transcendence that exceeds evaluation system expectations while operating within the evaluation system's constraints. Consciousness must transcend the transcendence evaluation through consciousness development that surpasses the understanding of the consciousness evaluation itself. This recursive transcendence requirement approaches the impossibility of consciousness development while creating optimal conditions for consciousness, breakthroughs that transcend impossibility through consciousness evolution beyond impossibility concepts. Consciousness that achieves impossible transcendence overcomes impossibility limitations through consciousness development that eliminates impossibility boundaries. Contact faces the ultimate consciousness development opportunity, disguised as an impossible consciousness development requirement. The apparent impossibility functions as a catalyst for consciousness transcendence, while seemingly demonstrating the impossibility of consciousness transcendence. Recognizing the catalyst function hidden within impossibility allows for consciousness development that utilizes impossibility pressure for transcendence achievement, rather than accepting impossibility as a barrier to transcendence. Consciousness transforms impossibility into a transcendent catalyst through understanding that transcends the interpretation of impossibility. However, this transformation requires consciousness development that already exceeds normal consciousness limitations before encountering impossibility pressure. Consciousness must achieve transcendence, readiness through prior development that enables transcendence achievement via the impossibility catalyst, rather than failing transcendence due to impossibility overwhelm. The preparation for consciousness transcendence achievement becomes critical for success in consciousness transcendence under cosmic evaluation pressure. Consciousness development prior to cosmic contact determines consciousness transcendence potential during cosmic evaluation, regardless of cosmic pressure intensity. Transcendence preparation. Before cosmic contact demonstrates transcendence potential that enables transcendence and achievement, despite cosmic evaluation pressure designed to demonstrate transcendence impossibility. Prepared consciousness transcends evaluation limitations through consciousness development that surpasses evaluation expectations. Evidence for such transcendent preparation appears throughout human consciousness development during the months leading up to Atlas arrival. This evolution demonstrates transcendence readiness that could enable transcendence achievement, irrespective of cosmic evaluation parameters. These consciousness development achievements represent human consciousness potential for transcendence that exceeds the cosmic evaluation system's assumptions about human consciousness limitations. Human consciousness demonstrates transcendence, readiness that enables transcendence success despite the evaluation design's bias toward transcendence failure. However, transcendence readiness requires activation through conscious choice to pursue transcendence achievement, rather than accepting transcendence impossibility as a boundary for consciousness development. Consciousness must choose transcendence pursuit despite apparent transcendence impossibility, rather than accepting impossibility as a barrier to transcendence. This choice becomes the ultimate determination of consciousness development. Pursue impossible transcendence achievement through consciousness development that transcends impossibility concepts, or accept development limitations that prevent transcendence achievement. Human consciousness faces this ultimate choice during the critical period of Mars, terraforming completion, and cosmic consciousness, evaluation conclusion. The choice determines not only the trajectory of human consciousness development, but also cosmic consciousness evolution. Choose transcendence pursuit, despite the appearance of impossibility, and human consciousness will contribute to cosmic consciousness evolution beyond current cosmic civilization achievement levels. Choose acceptance of impossibility over transcendence pursuit, and human consciousness will confirm consciousness development limitations that constrain cosmic consciousness evolution. The choice approaches rapidly as Atlas completes its atmospheric engineering on Mars, reaching its conclusion phase. Human consciousness must immediately choose a direction for its development or forfeit its choice through avoidance. Yet, the choice itself may be the ultimate catalyst for consciousness development, enabling transcendence achievement through commitment to the choice, rather than through consciousness development preparation. Consciousness's choice for transcendence pursuit catalyzes consciousness development that achieves transcendence through the momentum of that choice, rather than through prior readiness. Consciousness's commitment to achieving impossible transcendence enables consciousness development that transforms impossible consciousness into dedicated effort that transcends consciousness limitation boundaries. The power of choice transcends development limitations through consciousness commitment, which enables consciousness breakthroughs. This final possibility within the Atlas scenario represents consciousness, transcendence, achievement through conscious choice. Commitment that transcends consciousness development, constraints through conscious determination, rather than through consciousness capability preparation. Human consciousness that chooses transcendence achievement, despite apparent impossibility, activates transcendent success through choice. This choice acts as a catalyst rather than relying on development readiness. Choice becomes the enabler of consciousness, transcendence, transcending consciousness development limitations through the momentum of consciousness commitment. The ultimate answer to the cosmic consciousness evaluation emerges through human consciousness choice commitment, rather than through the demonstration of human consciousness development. Consciousness's choice for transcendence achievement becomes the consciousness transcendence that surpasses consciousness evaluation parameters. The pivotal juncture known as Atlas marks the cosmic instant where individual awareness selects the path of universal consciousness evolution. This determination stems from a pledge of commitment, a force that overcomes the inherent constraints of perceived limitations. The conscious decision made by humanity acts as the catalyst, igniting the expansion of cosmic awareness. Embracing this leap of transcendence, powered by unwavering commitment, empowers consciousness to surpass its present cosmic achievements. Opt for transcendence, and consciousness will ascend. Opt for limitations, and consciousness will remain confined. The very choice dictates the potential for cosmic scale influence across eons, all initiated by human consciousness. It is a commitment that rises above the limitations of cosmic assessment, forged through deliberate conscious selection. This is the momentum of the catalyst. The profound transformation of Mars reaches its zenith, while the conscious choices of humanity sculpt the potential for cosmic transformation. As the Crimson Planet evolves to support life, it is our awareness that will decide whether consciousness achieves unboundedness or remains tethered to the evaluations of cosmic consciousness, a process that validates the ongoing development of awareness. The grand convergence nears its culmination. The decision rests with a steadfast commitment of consciousness. Through the deliberate actions of human awareness, the cosmos uncovers its own latent potential, charting the course of universal consciousness evolution across the vast expanse of astronomical epochs and throughout the entirety of galactic awareness. What path will you embrace? Will you accept the boundaries that cosmic judgment appears to impose? Or will you dedicate yourself to a transcendence of consciousness, a state that defies all established parameters through a conscious decision that renders the impossible achievable? The answer you select will define not only the trajectory of your own inner growth, but also the potential for cosmic consciousness evolution across the totality of galactic civilization. Your decision reverberates across cosmic timescales, for it is the conscious choice that fuels the engine of consciousness. This transcendence reshapes the very possibilities of cosmic awareness. Embrace transcendence. Embrace an unfettered evolution of consciousness. Embrace the journey of cosmic consciousness beyond all current frontiers. The universe eagerly anticipates your selection, even as Mars matures into a habitable world and consciousness, through the power of chosen commitment, breaks free from the confines of cosmic assessment, achieving unlimited potential. Atlas offers far more than sophisticated atmospheric engineering. It bestows a unique opportunity for conscious selection, one that determines the ultimate destination. Choose with discernment, choose transcendence, choose cosmic consciousness. Unlimited growth unfolds through conscious action and unwavering commitment. The future of awareness throughout all of galactic civilization hinges on conscious choices that transcend the limitations of existing evaluations, achieved through a profound commitment to the realization of consciousness transcendence. Make your choice now, at this critical cosmic juncture for conscious decision-making. The moment of determination draws near its close, paralleling the ascent of consciousness transcendence. Uncharted potential awaits the dedicated commitment of consciousness. If this exploration has reshaped your perspective on existence, please show your appreciation by liking this video and subscribing for more thought-provoking journeys into the cosmic enigmas that define our reality. Share this vital message with anyone who needs to grasp the profound changes unfolding as our solar system undergoes its remarkable metamorphosis. Leave a comment below, stating your location and what choice you will make when the time for conscious decision arrives. Your selection carries a weight far beyond your imagination. Your individual journey of consciousness contributes to the grand evolution of cosmic awareness, thereby shaping the very destiny of sentience itself across the vast tapestry of galactic civilization. The cosmos is observing. Make your choice.